What is up? Stevie B here, Dynasty Life Fantasy Football. Here with the hammer.
Indeed, it is the hammer, baby. What up?
Shit. I guess let's talk about week two. Um, I guess let's talk about the Chargers and Kansas City game real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on that?
The Chargers fucking dominated that game, bro. They should have won that game, like going away. Really, the pick six was really the difference in the game, and Herbert still had a impressive game, 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Mike Williams came up big. But the difference in the game was the pick six. The Chiefs' offense looked very underwhelming, and I don't know if that's a product of the Chargers having a improved defensive line with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, or if the Chiefs were just playing it safe and saying, "Hey, we're going to take what the defense has given us." No turnovers by the Chiefs, so the difference in the game was a turnover.
Yeah, Mahomes looked great. Obviously, week one. Even in week two. The fucking 2 touchdowns that he threw, that was great. The sidearm
The one
flick
to McKinnon was crazy.
going towards out of bounds, just insane. And then even the deep one, just stepping up in the pocket and on the run, just flicking
As
the
accurate
wrist.
as you can be. Yeah, for sure.
Flicking the wrist. That was crazy.
But it wasn't the crazy yardage totals, and I think that's a product of
Yeah.
not having a guy like Tyreek Hill that could rip off a 60, 70-yard play in one. They kind of have to pick people apart more than hit the home run.
Yes and no. Because still, you saw still in week one where he threw, almost 400 yards. So,
I was saying against a more capable defense.
Yeah, I think the line obviously was getting to him a little more. Obviously, there was a little more pressure, so he wasn't as comfortable. But that's going to happen some games. It'll be this way. But they wound up toughing it out. So. And then, of course, Mike Williams, big weekend fantasy for Mike Williams, as we all kind of expected, as we were missing in week one. Of course, myself having him in 2 leagues, but obviously, big game for him, which was expected. And Palmer also, I wound up playing at the last minute, and last minute touchdown saved me in garbage time. So,
yeah, I always, and we were talking about this before we started the show. I always love Josh Palmer if there's going to be either no Keenan Allen or no Mike Williams. He'll give you solid production. It wasn't crazy, but you listen, a touchdown. I think he had 4 for 30 and a touchdown, but even still, from for a fill-in kind of deal. If you have injuries and he's playing, he's a really good option.
Yeah, he had like 9 targets, so that was encouraging. Where you want to play him if one of those guys goes down. But all right, so let's get into the first matchup: Jets and Cleveland. All right, who do you got? You got the Jets or you got the Browns here?
Something's telling me to take the Jets, but they're still rolling Joe Flacco out there, and considering how they looked against the Baltimore Ravens, I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one. I think the running game is really strong, and I think Jacoby Brissett knows who he is, and more importantly, knows who he's not. You know what I mean? So I think he doesn't mind relying on the running game. He doesn't mind, throwing 20 passes total for the game and being what we call a game manager. So I'm going to go with the Browns on this one.
Yeah.
I like more Kareem Hunt, more Nick Chubb, and I could see a 20-10 kind of game.
Yeah, so you think they're going to run the ball more? Do you think Chubb and Hunt are obviously going to be the most?
That has to be the formula until they get Deshaun back.
Yeah, that's true. Or even maybe when they even do get Deshaun back, maybe they still, run the ball.
But I think Deshaun is just so much more dynamic in terms of, moving the pocket, creating those off-schedule plays that they're going to want to open up the playbook because they're going to have to take on teams if they do, find themselves in a playoff situation or fighting for a playoff spot because Deshaun's coming back in week 11, week 12, something like that. Yeah. So if they're 6-6 or something like that, they're going to have to fight with teams like Kansas City, like Buffalo, the Chargers, Raiders, all those different teams to get into the playoffs. So I'm sure they're going to have to put up some points to win some games down the stretch, and if they make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, I got Cleveland here as well. Definitely not rolling with the Jets. Flacco's still in there. I don't even think there's anybody worth starting on the Jets, really. Even if you have like Michael Carter or Breece Hall, unless maybe in the flex or something like that. Breece could just start erupting at any moment. All he needs is one carry. If he gets one big play, I mean, that might be it.
But you have to see it before you could do something about it.
Yeah, and then he'll start getting chances. So I mean, I don't have a Breece Hall or Michael Carter in any leagues. I don't need to start either of them. So I'm pretty happy there. There's no wide receiver even worth starting as well. I mean, Elijah Moore, I guess, wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really be happy or excited about it. But yeah, so I got Cleveland there too. All right, Washington and Detroit. We were just briefly talked about that. Obviously, my guy Swift, who I love this year. But I guess I'll go first on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna take Detroit here. I think just with my two guys, Swift and St. Brown, two of my like league winning guys that I love this year. I think they're obviously going to do damage. I just don't love Washington here, and then they're at Detroit as well. So, I mean, so yeah, I definitely like Detroit here. Who you got?
This is a tough game to pick, to be honest with you. Probably one of the tougher games to pick because you never know when Carson Wentz is going to do Carson Wentz things, right?
Yeah.
So this is a game you would expect Carson Wentz to go into and put up some good numbers and not turn it over. And I could see him going in there and throwing for 225 yards and, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and turning it over in a crucial spot. So you know what? I was going to take Washington, but I'm going to roll with you on this one. I'm going to take the Lions. I just, for whatever reason, it feels like they have like fight in them. So I'm going to roll with the Lions. Obviously, you talk about Swift, Amon-Ra, TJ Hawkinson. I'm not crazy about Goff, but it feels like they have something that they should be able to pull us out.
Yeah, so we got a comment here, and one of my guys, Fantasy Football Mexicano, shout out to him. He says, CMC got shut down by Cleveland's defense, so it doesn't bode well for Carter. No, it doesn't bode well for Carter, and that's why I said I'm just not comfortable. Especially with Breece there, it's just a matter of time. It's just a tricky backfield. Breece Hall is a guy that you kind of got to stash and wait till that middle of the season, end of season kind of breakout to happen.
And also too, just to touch on your guys' point, if the Jets actually had a capable quarterback, that would free up some things because you can't load the box, you can't, you're not worried about anybody beating you deep. So while it's not a direct fantasy relevant thing, it definitely applies when you're talking about, your running back facing 8-9 man boxes, as opposed to if you got a capable quarterback, he's facing, 5, 6, 7 man fronts instead of 8-9 man fronts. So that kind of ties in there.
Yeah. So like I said, it's just a matter of time there. But all right. So you're rolling with Detroit with me as well there.
Yeah, I was gonna go Commanders, but I'm leaning Detroit. I'll go with Detroit.
All right, so we both got Detroit there. All right, that brings us to the next game is Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Woo! I'll let you start off this one. Who do you have, and what do you think's happening in this game?
You know what? The Saints are at home. I'm gonna take the Saints in this one. For whatever reason, the Saints defense has Tom Brady's number. In the regular season, the Saints are at home. The Bucs didn't exactly look explosive against Dallas, right? On opening night, on that Sunday night game, they didn't exactly look explosive. I think that was more just a product of Dallas not being able to put up any fight. The Bucs have a ton of injuries, and I'm pretty sure we'll touch on that. You'll touch on that a little bit more. The offensive line worries me, and the Saints have a really good offensive line, Cam Jordan. So I'm gonna roll with New Orleans. They They came back against Atlanta, but I like the skill position guys for the Saints.
Let me just throw this in there as you're saying you want New Orleans. There's a chance Kamara doesn't play. We don't know if Kamara's playing yet. I don't know if you were aware of that.
No, that doesn't change my outlook just because I like the Saints defense against Tom Brady.
Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go against you there. I'm gonna go with the Bucks here. I think that Tom Brady is fucking pissed off about last week's performance.
Also, no Godwin.
And I think that he comes back strong, even though no Godwin. Julio is questionable. I think Gage is questionable. I think they'll both play. I think Evans got a little banged up as well, but I'm still going to roll with them. I think they might lean a little bit more on the run game with Leonard Fournette, just to kind of save these wide receivers a little bit. Depending how they're feeling. But I'm still going to roll with Tampa Bay there. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Tampa there.
Okay.
All right, next game we got Carolina against the Giants. I am gonna go with Carolina here. I don't like the Giants. They're just that horrible. Even though I like Saquon, he's obviously been a beast here in fantasy for the first week. But yeah, I'm going to roll with Carolina here. I think Baker has a good game. I think Baker hits DJ a little bit here. They try and get DJ a little bit more involved, CMC as well. So I think they start to click a little bit here in this second game against this horrible Giants defense. So I'm definitely I'm going to go with Carolina here. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is another tough one, and I feel like if Carolina had a more reliable quarterback, I would take Carolina far and away. But they do have Baker Mayfield, who has a propensity to just do Baker Mayfield things. It reminds me of Carson Wentz in a sense, where you're like, Dan, you see really good things out of this guy, and then you're like, bruh, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You know what? I'm gonna roll with the Giants. I think that being at home, the home opener, Saquon Barkley, he really is a game changer. As much as I hate on the Giants, obviously our counterpart Bagala is a huge Giants fan, and we like to, mess with him a little bit. Saquon showed a lot, and I think they're going to try and ride that momentum with him. If Daniel Jones could just stop turning it over in the red zone, they would have a chance at a wild card spot, like realistically. But I'm going to go with the Giants. I think they're going to ride Saquon. I don't know how long they could ride him till the wheels fall off, but I think that's what they're going to do. I'll go with the Giants in this one.
Yeah, I just don't think they've got enough firepower. I think that obviously they're going to try and stop Saquon, and I mean, I think Tony, I don't think is playing this week. Robinson, I think, is out too. I just don't know with the wide receivers and QB situation that they can, they need to keep it a close game. If they can keep it a close game, in a low scoring game, I think they've got a chance. But
maybe get a turnover or two from Baker Mayfield, which he does do.
But if you see, like Carolina just go up like 21-7, pretty decently early.
Well, the Giants were down 13-0 against Tennessee at halftime, and they came back and won that game. Now, I know it was a missed field goal, like I know all that stuff, but a win is a win is a win. So, I think it's weird too, because if a team that isn't expected to win, they win that game, and then it's like now they start building a little bit of confidence. They feel like they're never out of it. So I'll take the Giants. I'm not overly confident in the pick, but I'll roll with the Giants here. It's the home opener. Saquon Barkley has another big game.
All right. Move on to the next game. We've got the New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And before you answer that, hold on. We've got a comment up here from Woody the Badger. Thanks for tuning in. Comment, comment already, but like and subscribe here for us. All right, for the last flex option, full PPR, should I play Pollard, Ayuk, Olave, Melvin Gordon, or Hines? Who should I start? All right, I'll let you go first on this one, Hammer, and then I'll give you mine.
This is a tough one. I'm eliminating Olave and Melvin Gordon. Pollard is weird because now that they have Cooper Rush, they might lean on Pollard and Zeke in concert. So Pollard would probably be third on this list. I think I'm leaning more Ayuk. I think the conditions for San Francisco are going to be a little bit better for Trey Lance to throw the ball around. And then the game script is really going to determine, how much Naeem Hines gets the ball. So I would roll for this particular week. I probably roll Ayuk or Hines. You kind of have to determine which one you like a little bit more, but it's either Ayuk or Hines for me. I would lean Ayuk, but I wouldn't be mad if you rolled with Hines.
Yeah, I think Hines, showed that he can decently be involved. But then again, Pollard was involved as well. I think he played like 55% of snaps or something real close to that. So, yeah, I mean, this is tough. I think, man, that's tough. But yeah, I probably go Hines, even though Olave could also be a good play too. But
guys
and. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. But yeah, I think I'll go out on Hines. And who are they playing this week?
Colts are playing the Jags.
Yeah, so I am gonna go with. I think I'd go with Hines.
I do like Olave a lot, but I just think
that's a tough call. This is a real.
I know.
We got a few questions here and a couple people watching, so I'm gonna get to the next question here.
Hit it. I love this.
Honestly, I think I like Pollard or Hines in this out of these.
Okay.
Because Pollard was involved, and I think now they realize they've got to get the ball into Zeke's hand. They've got to get the ball into Pollard's hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with Pollard here. I'm not going to go with Hines because I think that they're going to be able to run the ball well, and they're not going to be behind against Jacksonville where they'll have to throw. So I'm going to go with Pollard there. But all right, let's get to the next one here. We've got pick 3 from Arctic Beast. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment. Subscribe there first and like if you can. All right, pick 3. This is a full PPR. T. Higgins, Waddle, Evans, Michael Thomas, Drake London. I think I'll take this one here. I'm going to
go Evans off the rip.
I'm definitely going to go Evans. I don't think you can't not go Evans.
I agree.
If he plays, I'm not sure what his status is at the moment. I think he had a little bit of a hammy thing, but he should play. And I think you've got to play him no matter what. I'm also going to go with who is I know the Dolphins. Waddle is playing the
Baltimore.
The banged up Ravens secondary. So I do like Waddle this week. So I'm definitely
in
going
Baltimore.
So I've got Waddle and Evans here, and I'm gonna go with I think T. Higgins. Yeah, I'm gonna go with T. Higgins here against this Dallas D. Yeah, I'm gonna go with T. Higgins. I think they're gonna try and slow down Chase a little bit, which might leave T. Higgins a little more available there. I'm gonna stay away from Mike Thomas and Drake London. So I'm Higgins, Waddle, Evans. Who are you, Hammer?
I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I'm going to go. I agree. Mike Evans is the top guy here. Even though he might be a little banged up, Mike Evans has shown that he'll play through it and he'll go out there and be Tom Brady's #1 target. So Mike Evans is a lock for me. T. Higgins, if T. Higgins plays, you got to play him. That Dallas, I think they're primed for a big game in Cincinnati against Dallas. That's in Dallas, but Cincinnati. And then I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go with Drake London as my third play here. Now, I like Waddle a lot. I really do. But I'm going to go with Drake London just because I like what I saw from him. I like the chemistry he has with Mariota. So if Drake London's your wide receiver 3, you're in pretty good shape there. And I like his overall upside a little bit more than Waddle, considering that Mariota shown me a decent chemistry with him being able to run and pass off schedule, find him, in certain spots. So I'm going to go Evans, Higgins, and London.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that. And we've got a few questions here, Hammer, just letting you know. We're going to
roll it off, baby. I love it.
So again, thank you. We'll get to all the questions here. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe here. That was that. Let's see what's the next one here. Who should I start at running back? Another question from Arctic Beast, and I'm just going down the list in order here. Who should I start at running back in full PPR? Zeke or Michael Carter?
Zeke. That's Zeke.
I'm gonna go Zeke, of course.
Yeah,
even with easy. Obviously Dak not there, they should feed him more. So I'm gonna go Zeke there, especially obviously with Breece Hall. He could obviously start cutting in at any point in time. All he needs is one big play, and that's pretty much it. I think we just spoke about that earlier. But Hammer, you got anything else to throw in there?
No, hell no. Go Zeke and don't even think about it.
All right, perfect. Arctic Beast, thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe for us there. Drunk Squidward, thanks for tuning in.
That's interesting. I like that.
Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us here. You're new here. Who should I start in my flex? Kamara or Kareem Hunt?
Ooh.
It's a very good question. We don't know if Kamara is playing. Obviously, if he's not playing, obviously you're going to go roll with Kareem Hunt. But
just call everything even. What if they are both playing?
But if they are both playing, I'm gonna let you answer this one because I went first on the last one. So let you hit this one off.
I'm gonna go with Alvin Kamara, and just from the standpoint of the receiving work, like the receiving work is the upside for Kamara. I think they have a more balanced offense at this point. I know that obviously Cleveland is leaning more heavy. Kareem Hunt had a really big game last week. Alvin Kamara, not as big a game as Kareem Hunt. But if all things being equal, I think if you play Kamara, you're going to give yourself the best chance at the upside. So I'll roll with Kamara on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the clear-cut 3-down guy, so he's going to have a little bit more opportunities. Obviously, Kareem Hunt had a great game last week, but he's not going to get 2 touchdowns every week.
Try not to overreact to that sort of thing.
With Brissett there, he's still obviously going to be very productive, but you have to roll with Kamara there, and you can always say, listen, what round did you draft Kamara in? What round did you draft Kareem Hunt in? Obviously, you did that for a reason. You're rolling with Kamara if he's playing. But again, thanks for the comment there. Make sure you like and subscribe.
I love that name.
Let's roll to the next one here. Jacob Ander,
who is clearly a Buffalo Bills fan.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe for us here. But all right, let's check out this question. Need 2 wide receivers in PPR. Sutton, Michael Thomas, and Deontay Johnson. Unfortunately, I can't flex one because I have a fat Lenny. I like you, bro. I like that. I have a fat Lenny in my flex with Barkley and Henry as my running back. So obviously, yeah, you're definitely playing those 3 running backs, even one of those in the flex, of course. So now we're going to go to, we've got Sutton, Michael Thomas, and Deontay Johnson. Ooh. I think the easy answer,
Sutton, obviously,
is going to be Sutton. I agree with you there. I think Sutton is definitely one of the guys you have to start. And between Deontay and Michael Thomas, that is a tough one. Obviously, Michael Thomas had a great game last week. He didn't play a ton of the
That's what worries me.
Which is, of course, what worries me as well, which tells me he's not like 100% kind of. So that does worry me. And Deontay, obviously, what did Deontay do last week?
Bring it up. Give me 1 second.
What was his exact stats? And then if you think about it, for this week, they're playing New England.
Okay, Deontay had 9 total points. That's in half PPR. Obviously, full PPR a little different, but his final tally was 7 grabs for 55 yards.
I think just with the amount of targets and the amount of
targets, though, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think with the targets and how much they want to get him involved, I think that you've got to play that over Michael Thomas right now. I think you've got to see a little bit more from Michael Thomas before you plug him in. I think you need to see him do it again at least before you plug him in over a guy like Deontay Johnson or Sutton. Sutton just has too much big playability, and Deontay Johnson has too many targets. With those 2.
I agree with that. Also, too, Blanc, just to fuel that Deontay Johnson, play here, 81% of the snaps. So that'll work. So you go Sutton and you go Deontay, and you just need to see a little bit more from Michael Thomas, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go, Jacob Banner again. Thanks, man. Make sure you like and subscribe there. Let's get to the next one here for Access Mythics. Thanks for tuning in.
2-quarterback league. Oh, is Access, if you're out there, is this a 2-quarterback league? I need to know. Because if you have Burrow and Cousins, you're in business.
Rate my team. It's like we got 2-keeper, PPR, 14 team. Okay.
Pretty deep.
We've got Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Connor, Etienne, Breece Hall, Ramondre, Madison, Higgins, Waddle, London, Hollywood, Mooney, A-Rob, Pitts. So it is 14 teams, so it is a little bit deeper.
Yep.
And we play in actually 2 14-team leagues. So, Hammer, what do you think about this team?
2-keeper is interesting as opposed to a full keeper. So I like the team. The upside is there, but for me, it's like, damn, who are you keeping? Obviously you're going to keep Burrow because he's a cornerstone guy.
Even before you even go into that, and the keeper, it most of the time it depends on what round you take them in. So if you took, like
3
Breece Hall in the first round, if you keep Breece Hall, you lose your first round pick the next season.
Gotcha.
That is how it goes. But so the keeper part, I mean, it's not a crazy big deal as of right now, obviously. But just the team, yeah. So just the team in general. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
I like it a lot. Higgins, Waddle, London. That's really good because you're going to get production from Higgins and Waddle right away. London's also shown really good. I was a little disappointed in Hollywood because I thought he was really going to take advantage of, the DeAndre Hopkins absence. Pitts, obviously, another disappointment. A-Rob, Mooney. So a couple of disappointments there. ETN, a disappointment. So the team has tremendous upside, but I don't know. That might be hard to win with that team when you're really counting on Burrow to Higgins with Waddle, and then Connor. So the team is, if it was a full dynasty, I would love this team going forward because I think all those guys, most of them anyway, outside of Connor, are young ascending guys. Even Higgins, Waddle, et cetera, are young ascending guys. But, to win this year, you're going to need those guys to really pick up the pace pretty quickly because there's a lot of guys I'm looking at that I'm like, you're going to need at least 2 or 3 guys to carry you. So, and it really only looks like a Joe Burrow, Burrow to Higgins. You love that. But outside of that,
it's not 2 QB. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. 1 QB. That's fine. So overall, I love the team's upside, but if you're in win now mode, you might be struggling to find a playoff spot, but I love the team's upside.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like, obviously you've got Connor in there. ETN, I mean, he could have had 2 touchdowns last week, and it would have been a whole different.
The opportunities are there.
So I still love his opportunities, even with J-Rob there. Breece Hall's a guy that could start breaking out, but probably more towards the middle of the season, end of the season. But as we've been saying, one big run can kind of, start getting him a little bit more burned. Ramondre, Ty Montgomery is on IR, so Ramondre now is there with Harris, so he kind of jumps into that third down role and pass catching back role. So he could be great. Madison is an RB1 if Dalvin Cook ever goes down any week. So you definitely got some upside here. Higgins, Waddle, London. Hollywood, like you said, I was kind of a little disappointed in Hollywood. But A-Rob, I love. I think he bounces back, and he's got Pitts there. So you've got a good team there. You got a good team, so I do like that team, especially in a 14-team league. Don't forget also, guys, when you
Agreed.
About 14 team, it is a lot deeper. You don't got guns at every corner there.
I do on our dynasty team.
But he said, "Thank you so much. Like to subscribe."
Appreciate that, Arctic.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that there. Let's see.
Man, these questions are flooding in.
Yeah, he has Ertz instead of Pitts, but Ertz is still
okay. Ertz is solid.
Yeah, especially with Hopkins not there.
Ertz is very solid.
So, all right, he's got one more. We've got a couple other questions. We'll get to y'all guys. Just give us a minute as we go down each of the comments here and questions in order. One more question: T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle? Excellent. He said pick three, pick two.
I would go Higgins. If Higgins is healthy, if all things are equal, I'm taking T. Higgins. I just love the volume.
Yeah, I think the upside is so much higher than what Waddle could give you. Even though I love Waddle this game,
I like Waddle too a lot.
I just think the upside that T. Higgins can give you, I mean, it's just a little bit more than what Jalen Waddle can. All right, not 2QB. We saw that. All right, let's go to the Joker. The Joker, thank you for tuning in here. Make sure you like and subscribe for us there. Who to start at RB and flex position?
Ooh, I got a situation similar to this, so we'll get into this Joker really nice.
Jeff Wilson, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Chase Claypool. So far, I have Monty and Jeff Wilson in those slots.
16. Woo!
Well, I think I can tell you right now that Chase Claypool is not part of this conversation.
I would agree.
But go ahead, Hammer. Since you said you're in a similar situation, let's see how you're playing this.
Yeah, so we're in a 14-team dynasty. I had Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, we know the story there. He got hurt. He's on the IR. And I have Jeff Wilson currently in my starting lineup. While I don't feel terrific about that, I know San Francisco is a running football team with a young quarterback. So I'm going to say Jeff Wilson here and feel pretty solid about it. I played Jeff Wilson in a couple of spot starts when Elijah Mitchell was out last year, and he was able to give me some decent output. So I say roll with Jeff Wilson, and then I don't know, man. David Montgomery didn't look good. We talked about Khalil Herbert looking fantastic. And then Rashad Penny. I'm not a Rashad Penny fan. I'll say that first and foremost. So I'll say Jeff Wilson and David Montgomery. You could make an argument for Rashad Penny, but if I had my feet on fire, Jeff Wilson and David Montgomery.
Did he say pick two or is it? Oh yeah, running back and flex. Okay. Yeah. So I think
Chase he has them in those slots. Yeah.
Chase Claypool's out for me. So who'd you say? You said Wilson and who?
Wilson and Montgomery, who he already has in those slots.
I think that's kind of the best option there. And these are not like great options, to be honest.
It's a 16-team league, so it's deep.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it's hard to definitely choose from because they're all kind of have question marks around them, right? Jeff Wilson, they've got I always say they've got like 97 running backs there, so you never know who the hell is going to get the football.
Well, it's interesting though. Real quick, Davis Price was a healthy scratch. Now I don't know if they're going to activate him, and they just signed Marlon Mack.
Well, Mason, I know Jordan Mason has been. I think Jordan Mason's the back. It's Wilson, Mason, Price, and I think that. And that's the thing. You just don't know who to get. So that's the question mark there. When you talk about David Montgomery, he had a good amount of touches. I think he had like 17 carries, but he had like shit yards. He didn't do anything with the ball. And Herbert actually looked way better than Montgomery. Herbert had the touchdown. He just looked better. He looked shiftier. He just looked a lot better. And so that's the thing that worries me about Montgomery.
But also
Montgomery is also the guy. Obviously, they gave him 17 carries. So we're going to still roll with Montgomery until they start changing, until they stop giving him the football.
And also, too, I don't want to use it as an excuse, but you have to bring in the conditions, bro, that Bears Niners game last week. So yeah. I think with all conditions being solid, the Bears play the Packers in Green Bay. I don't think there's going to be a monsoon in Green Bay tomorrow night. So yeah, roll with Wilson and Montgomery, and I think you should be pretty solid in a 16-team league, which is pretty good.
Yeah. We got two other questions, and we'll get to y'all. I promise.
Roll it. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go with Montgomery. I'm just torn between Wilson and Penny because even though Walker is supposedly supposed to come back this game, I don't know how much work they're actually going to give him. Right. First game back. So I feel like Penny is kind of guaranteed, a certain workload where Jeff Wilson kind of is because he's the starter, but at the same time, like anybody breaks out a run, they're gonna start giving the ball to that guy.
Yeah.
So that's that's a tough one. So I'm actually gonna go with Penny and Montgomery instead.
No surprise there because you love yourself some Rashad Penny.
I do like me some Penny. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Penny and Montgomery just for that reason. Jeff Wilson just kind of scares me. I just think that they're gonna give the ball to all the different guys there, and
Makes sense.
It just worries me a tiny bit. So I'm gonna go Penny and Montgomery, but I'm not mad if you go Wilson Montgomery. And like I said before, Claypool is not part of the conversation, unfortunately.
No, I'm not Claypool.
He's not an option there. All right, the Joker, which was that same question before. He was pick 16. He got Josh Allen, Jeff Wilson, Debo, Cortland Sutton, Montgomery, Ertz, Prater, Chargers defense, Gainwell, Irv Smith, Claypool, Jamal Williams, Penny. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for a 16 team, I mean, you got to start like, damn.
That is rough, man. That is rough. Josh Allen really is Josh Allen, and
I'm trying to figure out one QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex.
Debo,
I guess that's what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all right. Again, thanks, Joker. Make sure to like and subscribe for us there. But yeah, keep them coming, guys. Whatever questions you got, we're here for you. So that is that. I was pick 16. Here's one from Clamped Ease. Thanks for tuning in here. Like and subscribe.
Good question
there. Waddle or Gabriel Davis?
This is a good question.
We were just talking about Waddle, obviously. Gabriel Davis, I don't know if he's playing. I know his
injury. He had an injury thing pop up as well.
Yeah, so he might not play. So I think I'm going to go and just play the safe side here with Waddle because I love the matchup. The Ravens, everybody's hurt in that secondary. So I think I'm going to go with Waddle here for the reason that Gabriel Davis obviously turned up hurt, and that chance of re-injury. I don't know if he's going to produce so much more better than Waddle for you to kind of take that chance. So I'm going to go with Waddle here. What do you think, Hammer?
Well, yeah, I'm going to go with Waddle as well. And not only for the reasons you just said, but Gabriel Davis is playing on Monday night. So if you don't have another option and you plug Gabriel Davis in there, and that option is probably not going to be as good as Waddle, you have to go with Jalen Waddle because he's the healthy receiver, and you're going to get at least a solid floor with Jalen Waddle. So go with Jalen Waddle because you do run a risk. If you do have Gabriel Davis plugged in there playing on Monday night, you have to factor that in as well. Go with Jalen Waddle. He's the healthy receiver, and not take a risk with Gabriel Davis this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there 100%. So, all right, we've got a couple more questions. Guys, we'll get to everything, so just stay tuned. We'll get to it. But yeah, like and subscribe for us there. Let's get to the next one here. It's going to be Nitin. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us. Let's get to this question here. I'll let you take this one, Hammer, since I took the last one first. But okay. I traded DK and Hines for Higgins. What do you guys think? 12-team PPR. I think it's a pretty easy answer. But what do you think, Hammer?
Hell yeah, bro. I love me some T. Higgins. Yeah. Jesus. If we had Bagala on this show, he might give it the rapish stamp. Now,
for this year.
For this year, right. For redraft, this is beautiful. This is a steal. T. Higgins has a chance to be wide receiver 1. If you're in a 12-team league, he could finish inside the top 12. His health is a little bit of a concern at this point with the shoulder injury he sustained, but I think over the course of the entire season, T. Higgins is just really awesome. I know he has Jamar Chase there, but T. Higgins is tremendous, particularly in the red zone. Make that trade every day of the week and 2 times on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's because you're looking for, especially in redraft, you want just the upside, and DK unfortunately doesn't have the upside. He should most likely still finish, top 20, top 30, maybe at the least. But you want that upside guy that can, kind of take you over the top. And Hines is really not much to give up, even though he does have a little bit of a fantasy role this season. It seems, as we've seen,
but
obviously 1 week so far. But yeah, to get T Higgins, that's big because he
and
was.
whoever, just some advice, Nitin, whoever you made that trade with, go back to that well again and see if you can make a couple of more trades with that person, because that was beautiful. That was a steal.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to the next. Oh, the Joker was just telling us it was one QB, one RB.
Oh, one running back. That's weird.
One running back. Oh wow, yeah.
I've never seen that.
Or maybe it is two running back and it's.
But it's 16 teams though. That's why.
Yeah, I have seen some leagues where it is one RB. If you get some of them deeper leagues, sometimes
yeah,
they do
that makes sense.
RB. So yeah, in that case, I'd draft just more wide receivers, obviously. But
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Traded DK and Hines. All right, let's go with Ewick here. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. What is up? I am wondering on who to start at flex. He's in an 8-man PPR: Henderson, Sutton, or Michael Thomas. 8-man is I hate, but I think for me it's pretty easy that I'm rolling with Sutton here. Henderson, he could get 20 carries. He could get 10. I mean, we don't know. When is Akers going to get out of the doghouse? Or does Akers, pull off a big run and then they start giving him the ball more during the game? Michael Thomas, obviously great week 1. We spoke about this a little bit earlier, but didn't play a ton of snaps. I'm not sure really how healthy he really is, but I like the upside of Sutton the absolute most here. So I'm rolling with Sutton. What do you think, Cameron?
It's Sutton, and it's honestly not even close.
Yeah.
If this was week 8 and Michael Thomas was putting together, 7 catches for 85 yards every week, then there'd be a bit of a discussion. I feel like once Russell Wilson kind of started targeting those wide receivers, we see what they're really capable of. It was a little bit of a rough first week, but Sutton could have easily had a Jerry Jeudy game where he caught that long bomb and took it into the house and had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Roll with Sutton. Both of those guys are going to be really good, and go for the upside with Sutton for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And just to touch a little bit more on Mike Thomas, I know he had like 5 catches for 50 yards. And he had the 2 touchdowns when they were down at the goal line. And, obviously if he doesn't have those 2 touchdowns, if he drops it or whatever, bad pass, then we're talking about, a 3 for 30 or 3 for 40. And, it's a whole different other conversation.
Also,
Thomas, obviously we can't just take it away. It happened, but just kind of throwing it out there, he wasn't, like heavily,
Also, too, really quick, just to touch on that Michael Thomas point, it was a positive game script for the Saints because they were down against Atlanta, so they had to exhaust their full passing complement. So it really gave Michael Thomas the opportunity to be out there because they needed him. What if they were up, 30 to 10? I don't think Michael Thomas would have seen much of the field. He would have ran his, 20 routes, whatever the case may be, but it was a positive game script in the fact that the Saints really needed to throw the ball. So I think that's why Michael Thomas ended up with a fruitful fantasy day. But other than that, you got to roll with Sutton. He's the healthy guy. He's going to get the targets. He's going to get the routes and the snap percentage. So roll with Sutton.
Definitely. But thanks for tuning in, Ewick. Like and subscribe for us there. Let's get on to the next one here is Access again. Again, thanks for tuning in. He traded for Pitts. He traded Pitts for Ertz and London. Did I win the trade? I can't remember if this was a 12 team or let me see if I can go back here in the comments a little bit. This was a 14 team. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I don't know if Pitts is going to be a crazy amount of difference from Ertz, but the thing is, I think the one issue is that you probably took Pitts pretty early in the draft.
Yeah, you probably got him in the 3rd round, 4th round.
Where Ertz and London most likely went way later.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of just a whiff of a pick almost to where you could have just, picked somebody else instead of Pitts. and had a way better outcome. You could have had, what is that? The third round there, maybe
third, fourth. Yeah.
You had, I don't know. It kind of all depends. But you could have had a Michael Pittman and Zach Ertz instead of Ertz and London. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, it's not an L kind of trade. I mean, who knows? London could actually turn out to be decently good, and you might need London, to play in your flex, especially in a deeper league like that. So I'm not mad at it at all. I do like Ertz this year, of course, especially with D-Hop down. But what do you think, Hammer?
I actually like the trade. When you first look at it, you're like, Kyle Pitts is this amazing talent. But I actually do like the trade from the standpoint of the Ertz to Pitts is going to have more catches and more yards, but Ertz is probably going to have more touchdowns. So I think the overall production at the end of the year isn't going to be that drastic. So for you to go from Pitts to Ertz, but then you pick up a guy like Drake London, who I think really is going to start to ascend as we get later on into the season. I like the trade. I do.
Yeah, so I think I'm with you, as in I like the trade. I think you recovered. I think you missed on the pick, but you recovered, with the trade there. I think is a better way to put it.
And you got two valuable guys who are going to produce for you that you could put in right away. London is a good wide receiver 3 flex right off the jump, and obviously going to be a top 12 kind of tight end. So it's a good way to balance out your roster without losing too much.
Definitely. And Axis, thanks again, man. Hewitt had just commented again. Yeah, he's going to roll with Sutton because he needs some upside. He faced Mike Williams.
Blanc, about that.
I got Mike Williams in 2 leagues, and I'm going against him in 1 league. So
Sutton.
And I love it at the same time.
Yeah, Sutton's going to give you good, stable production. If he catches a touchdown, you're in business.
Definitely. But thanks again, man. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for us there. All right, Hidden X. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Should I start Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady?
Ooh, this is actually an easy one for me.
Go ahead. Easy one for you. Go ahead. Hit us with it.
Kirk Cousins. This is Kirk Cousins, and this is not even close, honestly. I touched on this a little bit earlier in terms of Tom Brady facing off against that Saints defense, who seems to have his number. And as a Green Bay Packers fan, I hate the Vikings with all my living blood. I do. But I'm a realist, right? I drafted Justin Jefferson on one of my fantasy teams, and Kirk Cousins, for that matter, in my league, in our 2-quarterback league. Start Kirk Cousins. He has a ton of good weapons. Obviously, Justin Jefferson. Thielen is a touchdown machine in the red zone. Dalvin Cook. You got KJ Osborne as your wide receiver 3 there. Start Kirk Cousins and don't be afraid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rolling with Kirk Cousins this week for a few reasons. Number one, if you just look at that game against Philly, I mean, Philly just gave up like 35 points to Detroit.
I mean, they were ahead, so
they were, but still, they did give up a lot of points. It could be, some kind of shootout type of game or a high scoring game.
Yeah.
And obviously Kirk looked great last week. I don't think you can expect Kirk to throw, 4 or 5 touchdowns, but maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. He could throw 4 touchdowns. But anyway, Brady is going up against New Orleans, who have historically actually played pretty well against Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't look, amazing last week. He didn't look great in any kind of way, shape, or form. And also all of his wide receivers are pretty much hurt or questionable right now.
And that offensive line is banged up.
The offensive line is banged up also. So yeah, I mean, I'm going with Kirk Cousins for this week. Definitely, I'm gonna be with you on that one, Hammer. And we've got a few more questions here, so we'll get to everybody here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll go one by one here. Yes, I'm gonna roll with Sutton. Yeah, we went through that. All right, perfect. Oh, Hewitt, Green Bay Packer fan. Oh God, I'm a Vikings fan. So me and
no, he said boo. He loves the
boo. He's a Bears fan. Oh God. So we've got a Vikings fan, a Bears fan, and a Packers fan in here. We still appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah. Listen, we're all fans here, but the one thing I will say is, though, especially even when we have Bagala on, obviously Blanc, myself, we could put our fandom aside when we're talking about fantasy football, because I didn't draft Aaron Rodgers. I didn't draft a single Green Bay Packers offensive skill player in any of my leagues. And I love me some Aaron, obviously. So we're going to give you the analysis regardless of our favorite teams. I just told you to roll with Kirk Cousins over Tom Brady. I don't think I'll ever say, I never thought I'd see the day when I say take Kirk Cousins over Tom Brady in my life. So that just goes to show you we're going to be objective. We're going to give you, the best fantasy advice possible. But appreciate you, Uwick. The Bears stink. We own you.
All right, Damon the Beast. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. Waddle, Hollywood, or Jeff Wilson at the flex. Jeff Wilson is automatically eliminated from the game.
Agreed.
I think that's even a question. I think you took the last one, so I'll take this one here. And we've been talking about Waddle, how we love the matchup and everything. Hollywood, obviously, a little bit of a disappointment last week. But who are they?
Cardinals playing the Raiders at
They are playing the Raiders. I'm going to roll with Hollywood here because I think that his upside is a little bit more than Waddle's is, because he can make some big plays. And obviously, he's the only guy pretty much there in Arizona right now, even though, like I said, he was a little disappointing last week. So I'm going to roll with Hollywood there, even though, again, I do love Waddle's matchup. So I wouldn't be mad either way. I just think I like the upside of Hollywood a little bit more than Waddle here. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I was tempted to go that route, but I think Jalen Waddle has a higher floor. Especially if you're in a PPR league. So I'm going to roll with Jalen Waddle here. I tend to go – I don't want to say I always go with the safer play, but I feel like Jalen Waddle's floor is stable enough where the Hollywood thing, it scares me a little bit. Kyler Murray is one of those guys that I want to, that you always envision seeing explode and putting up these great passing numbers. But I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle here just because he has a higher floor. Hollywood could have, a massive game where he just connects with him on a deep pass. And that feels like a game that should be a 35-31 kind of game. But yeah, I'm going to go with Waddle just because he has a little bit of a more stable floor. Hollywood did have a solid game, though. He had 4 for 43 and a touchdown.
Yeah, man, I think it depends on your, your tolerance for taking risk, I guess. But we're talking about the flex here, so I'm okay with taking the chance on the upside in your flex position, as opposed to playing it a little bit safe.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm not mad either way. You can play any of those guys. Again, guys, thank you for everyone that's tuning in. I see all the questions. I am getting to all of them in order here. But again, Damon the Beast, thank you. Let's get to the next one here by Josh. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us, guys. We'll get to everybody. Just like and subscribe down there for us. Help us with the algorithms there. But Chase Edmonds or Jeff Wilson. I think we've talked a lot of Jeff Wilson tonight. I'm going with Chase Edmonds. I think he has just a little bit more upside. I think we know he's going to get the ball more. Jeff Wilson, I just don't know. I'm just not comfortable with I keep saying it, 97 fucking running backs that they have there. So I'm going with Chase here. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I think Chase Edmonds has the clearer path to a better fantasy day. If Jeff Wilson gets 4 or 5 carries and he ends up with 10 yards, is Kyle Shanahan going to go to the next running back and mix it in? So for that reason alone, while I do have Jeff Wilson in my starting lineup in my dynasty league, I don't feel like I have a better option. But for this, I will agree with you and go with Chase Edmonds just because I see a clearer path to some stable production. And he had, 4 receptions last week as well. So they're getting him involved in the passing game. So go with Chase Edmonds here. Just because there is uncertainty in that San Francisco running back situation if you had to choose from these two.
Definitely. All right, perfect. Thanks, Josh. Like and subscribe for us there. Make sure, please. And all right, let's get to the next one here. That Patrick has one. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. But all right, part
It says
two.
part two there, Blanc. So it looks like there was another message.
Oh, okay, I got it. Part one and part two. Okay, hold on. Let me put part one in here first. So I don't know how that got mixed in there. All right, part one. I went 0 RB in the draft. I love it. I got Hurts. That's awesome. Jefferson, Diggs, AJ Brown,
That's
Kyle
pretty good.
lock-in starters. Allen Robinson and Bateman on my bench. My RBs are CEH, Gibson, Hunt, Pollard, Henderson, Edmonds. Hammer, I'll let you comment on this one first.
You want to read the
part two? We don't need part two. Part two looks like it's a kind of separate question, so we'll just.
Okay. I thought part two was tied in. Listen, I'm not a fan, and if you go back and watch some of our drafts, our mock drafts, and even our live drafts, I'm not a fan of the 0 RB strategy. I know Blanc is a little more open to it, depending on how the board falls. But the team overall is solid. I mean, listen, if you've got Jefferson, Diggs, and AJ Brown, then you can afford to play a guy like CEH and maybe a Kareem Hunt and be okay for a little while. So I think those guys will definitely be able to make up for the production. And if you have, like I said, Jefferson, Diggs, and AJ Brown, those guys are going to carry you. And if Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a guy like Hunt or Gibson are going to give you at least 8 to 10 points, you can live with that and just dominate at the wide receiver position. So that's solid.
Definitely. I'm gonna go opposite of you. I fucking love it.
But he said his bench running backs are CEH. So who are the starting running backs?
No, he's got Allen Robinson and Bateman on his bench. His running backs are.
Oh, got you. I got you. Okay.
Now, I love the running backs you have for this particular strategy that you decided to go with because you went, heavy on awesome wide receivers. And I'm sure you've won your matchup because obviously CEH and Gibby.
Yep, we're solid. And Hunt, we're good. Yeah.
So you perfected the strategy in a way where you picked up some guys with some major upside. Obviously Gibson, we're worried about Robinson that's there,
and he's practicing already. Robinson's practicing already.
He is, and obviously that can eat in. But Gibby did have a good performance last week. I expect him again to take on most of the work this week. I don't know if even Rob. I don't think he's going to play this week. Even if he does, he probably won't get much work. So Gibby still has some upside there. CEH has played great, but the only thing worries me about CEH is his usage. I mean, 10 touches in week 1, 12 touches in week 2. He's done great with those touches. So you can say, hey, he's got high value touches. But at the same time, I don't know if that's sustainable over the course of the season if he's only going to be, 10, 12 touches. Like, McKinnon is being used a lot. Hunt obviously is going to get work. Pollard's a guy where if Zeke goes down, can be really productive, or even if Zeke doesn't. Henderson looking like the RB1 right now over there. But again, we don't know with Akers. And then Chase Edmonds, I like as well. So you perfected that strategy. I do like that. But let's get to part 2 of that question, which is he also has Mason. I'm guessing that's Jordan Mason, the 49ers guy. I'm guessing, right?
I have no idea who Mason.
I want to drop Allen Robinson and pick up either Jalen Warren or Rashard White or Ken Walker or Tyler Algier. Would that be leaving me thin at wide receiver with only one benched?
Keep Allen Robinson.
Yeah, don't get rid of Allen Robinson. Let me just go back to this team here. I wouldn't get rid of Allen Robinson. I wouldn't, or Bateman. I wouldn't do that either. I think you've got enough RBs there with some upside that you don't want to drop Allen Robinson just to pick up some of those other guys, Jalen Warren,
and
White.
also.
Ken Walker and Algier do have some great upside. Let me just throw that in there.
But not right now.
But I don't like them better than any of the guys that you have currently on the roster.
I agree.
So I wouldn't make that move. I wouldn't drop. I wouldn't do that. Go ahead, Hammer.
Really quick, and the reason why we're saying not to drop Allen Robinson or Bateman is because a guy like AJ Brown has a tendency to get nicked up. And if he gets banged up and you lose AJ Brown, Allen Robinson is the or Bateman. I'd probably go with Allen Robinson a little bit. He would be first up. So don't drop Allen Robinson. I think he has really, really good upside. Don't get scared by that first game. I think one of the things that, I like to say is don't overreact to one game. It was just week one. I think we're all excited about fantasy and football being back that, we tend to overreact. Don't overreact to Allen Robinson. I think he's going to he'll have 8 touchdowns by the time the season's over. And, if something should happen to one of your big 3 wide receivers, I feel like Allen Robinson is the perfect guy to plug in. Or if you want a little bit more upside, you could go with Bateman.
Yeah, definitely. And before I talk about Allen Robinson again real quick, guys, like and subscribe for us. We'll get to all the questions. I know there's a bunch more here. I'm going down the list here. Let me just throw in one more thing about Allen Robinson. Like you said, don't get caught up all in the one game. McVay has already said he wants to get Robinson more involved. And then you can look at last year as a perfect example. I keep saying it over and over, where Robert Woods just dudded the first game, came back the second game, and went went crazy. Went 9.
Odell got off to a slow start.
Odell as well got off to a slow start, and then started playing well as well. So. Yeah, don't make that move. I think you're fine exactly where you are, and you can kind of look at the matchups and start playing different guys as your RB there. But I think for this week at least, CEH and Gibson should be your locks, at least for this week there. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I mean there could be a case to be made for a guy like Chase Edmonds instead of Gibson, depending on how you like the matchup. So it's really dependent on how you feel, but definitely take a look at the matchups from your running back spots, and you can kind of mix and match depending on the running backs, as Blanc said.
Definitely. All right, Isaac. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. DJ Moore, Drake London, or Jahan Dotson.
That's interesting.
For me, I'll take this one first. Last one, but all right, I'm definitely going DJ Moore, and it's not close. I think the upside,
of course you are,
it's not even close. I think he bounces back this week. Drake London I like, but I don't like him more than DJ Moore on any given week. I don't care what the matchup is or the QBs are. And Jahan Dotson, who had 2 touchdowns, looked good, didn't have a ton of targets, but you can't expect another 2 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel obviously looked great. He was heavily involved. Obviously, you got Terry McLaurin there as well. So I'm not, even though I do like Dotson, I'm not going to start him over a guy like DJ Moore, or I'm not going to start London over a guy like DJ Moore. But that's just my take on it. What do you feel about this, Hammer?
Listen, I knew you were going to go with DJ Moore because that's your guy. But also, too, there's some logic behind it. So I understand. And obviously, when you're talking about DJ Moore compared to Drake London or Jahan Dotson, those are the 2 guys are rookies. So DJ Moore is the established veteran, and he's going to get most of Baker's targets in the passing game. So while I do understand why you would say DJ Moore, I'm going to take Drake London on this one.
Really?
I like what I saw. I was watching a lot of that Atlanta New Orleans game, and I like the rapport that Mariota has with him early on, and I just think that's going to get better. And I like the fact that Mariota can extend plays and maybe find him down the field a little bit more as they go on. Dotson only had 5 targets, so 2 touchdowns on 5 targets. That's like fluky. That's insane. That's Mike Thomas fluky. So I like Drake London, and I'm going to take the upside with Drake London rolling with Mariota. DJ Moore is going to give you more stable production, but I'm gonna roll with Drake London on this one.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, now the one thing that I'm not mad that if you would take Drake London for the main fact that they are playing the Rams. If it does turn into a blowout where the Rams start leading, Atlanta obviously is going to have
a factor too,
which could lead to Drake London getting those points there. So Thanks for breaking that down. That was great. No problem, man. Make sure you like and subscribe for us there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for tuning in. Hold on. Let's see. Let me get back to where we were here.
Man, we were just rolling off the games and the questions just flooded in. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Chase. All right, here we go. Isaac again. Brees Hall or Khalil Herbert? RB2. This is a good one because
That is a good one.
I did like what Herbert did. I like that he was involved. He could start, getting more involved. I think he looked better than Monty, even though, again, we were talking about the conditions of the game. But I do like Herbert a lot more than Monty. But this is actually a real This is a tough one, and I'm gonna roll with Brees Hall because even though Herbert looked better, Monty still had like 17 carries. So Monty is just gonna get the ball as to where Carter and Brees Hall could be a little bit more split. So I'm gonna go with Brees Hall here. What do you got?
Yeah, initially I was gonna go Khalil Herbert, but as you said, David Montgomery's a little bit more established. And Brees Hall had 15 total touches, which you like that a lot. He had 12 total touches, but 15 opportunities. He had six carries. He had 9 targets in the passing game. So that's going to be really good. I expect the Jets to kind of dink and dunk it as well. So I'll go with Brees Hall just because there's a little bit more opportunity in a split with a guy like Michael Carter. So go with Brees Hall on this one.
Definitely. Thanks again, Isaac. Patrick had part 3 final. Even though I have 3 potential top 10 in Diggs, Jefferson, and the Hurts Brown stack with Pitts. Yeah, I mean, even though you have all that, I'm still not getting rid of a guy like Allen Robinson for those reasons that we mentioned before. Just for a prayer on Tyler Algier or Rashad White, to become the number 1 guy. Because even if the guys in front of them get hurt, they're not going to be the workhorse guys, and I think that's the main thing. It's not like an Alexander Madison where if Cook gets hurt, Madison is an RB1, So that's why I didn't. That's why we say, to keep Allen Robinson and not get rid of him there. Isaac Cheesehead. Yep, that's your Packer fan there.
My guy.
I'm Skull all the way. Funny. Here's another one from Hewick. Hewick, thanks again, man. And Isaac, thank you guys. Hopefully,
Hewick
for us. What's Green Bay's record? What's Bears' record? Tell him, Hewick. Give it to him.
Hang on. So I don't want to do this to you, Hewick, because you seem like a nice dude. You gave us some great questions, some great content, but what is Green Bay's record versus Chicago?
Hewick, watch him get blown. I love it. I love y'all.
This is tremendous. So Hewick, really quick, what's Green Bay's record versus Chicago in the last 30 years? You don't want to bark up that tree, my friend.
Oh God, that was funny. That was good stuff. Thank you guys. I appreciate it, y'all. One more question though. I am starting 3 wide receivers, but don't know who to start. I got Deontay Johnson, I'm guessing, Brandon Cooks, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, but I can't start 1.
Ooh, so 3 out of 4 here.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead. You take this one first, Hammer. I think I took the last one, so I'll give you.
Got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm right off the rip. I'm going with Christian Kirk and Brandon Cooks. Those are definitely the 2. And we brought up Deontay Johnson in the previous question. I think DK might be the odd man out. Now I know when Geno filled in for Russ last year, 3 touchdowns in 3 games, but now teams are going to be able to game plan against Geno, against DK a little bit more. So as much as it pains me to say, I think DK is the odd man out here. We talked about Deontay's target share, which is tremendous. I know Mitchell Trubisky is not the greatest quarterback, but it feels like DK is the odd man out here.
Yeah, guys, we'll get to all the questions. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. We're going through all the questions here, so just hang tight as we go through here. But yeah, I agree with you. Even though DK had a nice little 7 targets, I think Deontay just has more upside. And obviously, DK can go off on any given week. It's just that when is that week going to be?
Right.
Where Deontay Johnson at least is getting that 10, 12 targets, where DK is just getting those 7, 8 targets. So I think DK is the guy you want to sit here. Brandon Cooks is a guy that's going to give you solid production.
Very
Christian,
solid.
obviously with all his targets he had. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hammer here. We're gonna sit DK.
That's a tough one, man.
As much as how hard and painful
it doesn't feel right.
A guy like DJ Metcalf, but yeah. Thanks for the question, though. Make sure you like and subscribe for us, guy. Thanks for this feedback. No problem.
Hell yeah.
All right, Miles. Thanks for tuning in, Miles. Like and subscribe for us there.
Man, we're getting a lot of Jeff Wilson here, man.
All right, Jeff Wilson or Michael Carter.
Really quick.
This is a tough.
Quick, Blanc. I think we're getting all this Jeff Wilson business because a lot of people had Elijah Mitchell, and it pains me to have to go through this BS with Elijah Mitchell after week 1. But go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. I think that I'm rolling with Michael Carter. Especially in a game where Cleveland could be blowing them out. I mean, I don't know. The Jets are so bad. You never know. Again, I just think that there's just too many guys in San Fran that we just don't know for sure if Jeff Wilson's going to get all the carries. Like we mentioned before, all it takes is, one little, one big play from somebody, and all of a sudden they're getting all the carries. As to where Michael Carter, it's he's getting a little bit more burn than Brees right now. Again, Brees can break away at any point. One big play from him could start cutting in. But I think I'm going to go with Michael Carter here over Jeff Wilson. What about you?
Yeah, man. Again, I have Jeff Wilson in my starting fantasy dynasty lineup, but it's only because I don't have Michael Carter. I don't have Chase Edmonds. I don't have any of those guys. I have Damian Harris, and I don't feel good about that either. But yeah, go with Michael Carter. Even we talked about Brees Hall's opportunities. Michael Carter, 10 rushes, 9 targets, 19 opportunities. That's really nice. You like that. He had 17 points last week. The Jets are bad, and those running backs are going to get the work. So this is a pretty easy one. Go with Michael Carter because he's going to get more opportunities that you can bank on. We don't know what San Francisco's running game is going to look like. We just don't know.
Just real quick, Isaac was asking before, you think Drake London will get shadowed by Jalen, though?
I was actually going to bring that up, and I thought about it, but I'm not saying that Drake London is Stephon Diggs, because I've watched Jalen Ramsey get barbecued the last couple of times. Remember what they did to him in the Super Bowl, what the Bengals did to him in the Super Bowl with T. Higgins. So I don't think just because it's Jalen Ramsey, you should be afraid. I think Drake London is big and athletic enough to be able to get his work no matter where he goes. And Jalen Ramsey tends to not shadow players all over the field. He tends to play one side of the field, and then whatever happens, happens. So I wouldn't really be that concerned with Jalen Ramsey shadowing him.
True. Zane, thanks for tuning in, Zane. Like and subscribe for us there. Drake London or Pickens? I think this is pretty much easily London for me. I don't think Pickens is just involved enough just yet. But yeah, I'm going London. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, London as well. I've been pretty high on London here. Pickens was a little disappointing considering what we saw in the preseason from a week 1, standpoint. I think Pickens will be really good, but Drake London just right out the box looks like he's really going to be able to produce. And I talked about his rapport with Mariota, so that's a Drake London one for me.
Yeah, definitely. Miles again. Thanks again, Miles.
This is a good one.
Start T. Higgins or Christian Kirk. It is a good one. I'll let you take it away.
I don't know.
It's so tough.
This is the first one. Miles, really appreciate the question, man. This is probably the first one that I would have to sit there, look at the matchup, think about it. Now, the deciding factor, and I talk about everything being equal, T. Higgins is banged up with the shoulder. I mean, what was it, shoulder or concussion, I believe? I think it was concussion for T. Higgins. But anyway, all things being equal, I'm still going to take T. Higgins because I trust Joe Burrow more than I trust Trevor Lawrence. But, man, Christian Kirk was extremely impressive. Damn, dude. I don't know. I think that's a toss-up. That's a 50-50 for me.
Yeah, it is a toss-up. I mean, you can't go mad either way, so you probably have to look more into the matchup, I guess. You've got Jacksonville against the Colts, and you've got
Bengals against Dallas.
So
I think you're stumped too, Blanc.
I am a little stumped as well, and I think I am with you on Kirk just because they might be down and having to come back. Whereas to
Cincinnati might be ahead.
Cincinnati might be ahead over Dallas with with Dak and all that. So I think in this particular case, I'm going with Kirk. I'm going with Kirk as well.
But how would they get ahead? T. Higgins might be the beneficiary of getting ahead. So that's
again you kind of gotta gotta pick your poison.
I don't think you could go wrong either way. I'll be honest with you.
T. Higgins, obviously was hurt the first game, coming back just again for the first time now in game 2.
Blowout. They might.
Give me Kirk just because maybe they don't play Higgins a full all of the snaps. Maybe they got him limited just a little bit as it's his first game back coming from concussion. So let's go to the safe side. Let's go with Kirk there. Fantasy Gurus, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. Need a one flex since Pittman is out. Need one at flex since Pittman is out. My bad. I can't even fucking read. Burkhead, Damian Pierce, Zay Jones, Dortch, Nico Collins, DJ Shark. Damn. Did I take the last one or did I give you the last one? I don't remember. But
Take it.
All right. Pittman's out. Who do you got? Burkhead, Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce and Burkhead, we just don't know what the share is going to be. Mm-hmm. Pierce should have got more involved. They've said they want to get him more involved, but how much more are they going to get him involved right away? Zay Jones, I honestly,
DJ Shark's not a bad option.
I like Dortch. With everybody out, I'm not sure. I think Rondale Moore is out as well again this week. So I think it's just like Hollywood and Dortch over there with Ertz. So I'm not mad at I like Dortch, Nico Collins. They've said they want to get him more involved as well. But honestly, I think I like Dortch, especially if Rondale Moore is not playing. Now, if Rondale Moore, can you check on that real quick, Hammer? Can you look that up real quick?
What are we looking at?
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. Oh, not DJ Moore. Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore. Ruled out.
Yeah, so he's ruled out. So I honestly, I like Dortch of all these guys. I think he's got the most potential to do something, and we've kind of talked about it before. As they're playing the Raiders, could be some kind of high-scoring game there as well. So I think I like Dortch here out of all these options. What do you think? What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, my initial and it sucks because Pittman is out. I have Pittman in my home league, and it just came out of nowhere. I got the alert, and I'm like, Michael Pittman out? What the hell? I saw Alec Pierce go down, but anyway,
AJ Green as well, just throwing in there. But I think I still like Dortch rather than AJ. AJ Green.
You don't want AJ Green at this point. You're gonna go Dortch or you're gonna go DJ Shark. DJ Shark was really good. I know it was a positive game script because they were down a bunch to Philly, and then Jared Goff needed to throw it all over the place. So there could be an argument to be made for both. With Rondale Moore being out, you kind of lean towards Dortch. But DJ Shark's more than capable of giving you good production. Now he has a little bit more competition with targets from Amon-Ra and from TJ Hawkinson. Swift out of the backfield. So you know what? now that I'm mentioning that, go with Dortch, but DJ Shark, you could take a nice look at as well.
Right. Patrick asks here, you guys are great. Do you guys have a schedule of when you go live, or is it just random? I'll be honest with you. I try and get on when I can. We're usually on at least 2 to 3 times a week. I'm usually available always, like after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So usually that is when we're on. We'll be on tomorrow morning, guys. I'll be on from 11 to 12. We'll be doing a whole bunch of start-sit questions and stuff like that, going over some of the games as well. But we're usually around late night. Just make sure you like and subscribe.
And you'll get the notification. Yeah.
Hit the little bell button for the notification. I'm gonna try and just set up, when we do plan on going live. This way, you guys can see it up there, when exactly we're coming on. So I'll try and be a little better at that. I'm not all this kind of tech savvy shit.
Yes, you are. You're a millennial.
Trying to figure all that shit out. But
give me that tech savvy nonsense.
Thank you, Patrick. And his league was a 10-team standard, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. He agreed with you guys. Gibson as RB2. What's your guys' take on my second flex? Hunt, Edmonds, Henderson, Pollard, Bateman, or A-Rob? This is actually a real good question, but I'm going A-Rob, honestly. Like I mentioned before, they want him to be more involved. So, yeah, for me, I think it's easily A-Rob for me in the second flex. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, this is not exactly an easy question. Watching that Rams game, it was very interesting. They had that other guy, Skrillneck or something. I forgot his name. He kind of looked like Cooper Kupp when Skrillneck was catching passes. I'm like, oh shit, Cooper Kupp's caught another one, but it wasn't. But Allen Robinson is the more proven receiver over the course of his career. I considered taking Allen Robinson in a ton of drafts. I just didn't get to him where I felt comfortable. But I do love me some Allen Robinson playing in that offense. So yeah, Allen Robinson would be my first choice, but I wouldn't shy away from a guy like Chase Edmonds or Rashad Bateman just for some upside. As we talked about with Chase Edmonds, there's a path to carries and touches out of that Miami backfield, and you got 2 really good wide receivers and a mobile quarterback. So I think Edmonds definitely has a chance to be another stable flex guy.
Yeah, and guys, thank you for tuning in and commenting on here. I'm trying to get to all the questions. There's a ton of them, so just
they are piling up in that chat.
Tuned. I'm just trying to make sure we get to everybody and give our a good outlook on everything for you guys, so you guys can subscribe and keep asking questions and stuff. But so yeah, who'd you go with here? Who do you want in the second flex?
So it's between Allen Robinson and Chase Edmonds. I guess it just depends on the matchup.
Yeah, we spoke about Henderson a little bit before too, but I'm gonna just believe in Sean McVay and what he says, because he said the same exact thing last year with Robert Woods, and he went to Robert Woods a ton in that second game. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with A-Rob here. Again, it wasn't pretty that first game, but I think they're gonna look to get him more involved here. So I'm gonna go with A-Rob. Isaac, our guy here. Who do I go with? Darnell. Do I go with Darnell over DJ Moore? No. This is a real good question, but no. I'm not going to do it yet. Darnell had obviously a bad game last week. I expect that to change this week, but I think I just like DJ Moore better. I like his upside. I think they're going to get him the ball a little bit more this week, so I'm going to go with DJ there. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Darnell Mooney. I really think, he showed a lot by, breaking out in a Bears offense that was absolutely dreadful last season. So we have really high expectations, and I think people are going to, overreact a little bit to the Mooney dud last week. But once again, the monsoon, man. So I'm not going to give up on Darnell Mooney. But DJ Moore, if you had to choose, DJ Moore is the safer play. I feel like Mooney is the higher upside guy. So I'd still roll with DJ Moore right now. Also, too, Justin Fields, the consistency passing the ball with Justin Fields isn't quite there yet. I know Baker's not – I'm not a fan of Baker Mayfield, but he's a more consistent passer of the football, and DJ Moore has proven to be a really good wide receiver.
Definitely. Thank all you guys. We appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribing for us there. Already done, gentlemen. Thank you, Patrick. Darnell or DJ. Yeah. My bad, Isaac. There's a ton of questions, so we're just trying to get to everybody's questions all in order here. So
I didn't expect these many questions to pile up here.
Be a little patient. I told you, Hammer is,
this is good.
Tomorrow, bro. People want to know, people want input, and
I'm here. We're rolling.
Hopefully, y'all like what we're spitting out here. We try and give you the best input as we can. But Woody the Badger, thanks for tuning in, Woody. Make sure you like and subscribe there for us. And I'm sorry I keep saying that. It's just the reason is, even when I watch YouTube videos and I love them, sometimes I forget to hit the like or subscribe to it. And then I'm like, shit. And I think about it later and try and find it. So just make sure you like and subscribe for us there. Help us out with those damn algorithms and shit so more people could watch. But all right, for last flex option, full PPR, Hammer, should he play Pollard? Alvin? I think we did. Maybe he missed. Maybe he missed.
I feel like we did this one.
Yeah, we did do this one. Hold on. My bad. I messed up here.
Maybe you need to get your algorithms.
No, because I'm trying to read through all
in. Yeah, I got you.
All the different comments, and then it took me back to the top. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we go. I was leaning RB, Edmonds, or Hunt, but I'm gonna have to sleep on it.
It'd be like that.
I just think that with the Rams offense and Matt Stafford, and then even McVay just saying that he has to get A-Rob more involved more. I think that's just the main reason why I'm going RB there. Even though Hunt had a great game, Edmonds got some burn too, but I think that's why I'm going A-Rob. Destroyer, thanks for tuning in, Destroyer. Make sure you like and subscribe for us there. But what do you guys think of my FanDuel lineup to beat the score? Carr, Chubb, Henderson, Adams, Tyreek Hill, Dortch, Waller, Drake, London, and Seahawks D.
So what is beat the score? What do they set a specific score and you have to pick?
Let me see if he's added anything else here. Anyone I should add or take out? Destroyer, if you're still watching right now, give me a little bit more insight on exactly what you mean by beat the score. Just give me a little bit. You beat 125 points. Okay, so he's got to get 125 points. And I'm guessing this is just standard 4-point TD for the QB. No PPR, I'm guessing. So we've got to get 120 and 25 points. Now, are you paying for these guys? Are there price tags on them? Or do you just get to pick anybody? Because obviously you would have picked Henderson out of JT or Swift or something like that. So there's got a half PPR. Yeah, you got to beat 25 points. Yeah, I still am having a little trouble. Price tags. Yeah, there's price tags for everybody. Okay. So is there a question that you have? Because obviously I don't know what everybody's price tag is. Is there a question that you have of either or? Should you take out this guy or this guy, or should you have this guy or this guy? Have 60K. You have 60K salary. Yeah, just give me a little bit more specific. I don't know. Maybe if I'm reading it wrong. Hammer, are you understanding what exactly?
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's almost like an auction kind of thing. So
that I get. Yeah, but it's just I guess I'm trying to find the actual real question.
Just the format, the way it's laid out. I don't
know if you should take anybody out because I don't know who's available at the same price. I guess is the best way.
That makes sense.
It is the best way to put it. But like we said, but just looking at it, I mean, we like Dortch. We just talked about that. Drake, London. We talked about that. How he if they're down, how he could produce. Tyreek Hill, I love, especially PPR. Yep. Adams, I'm guessing that's Devontae. So yeah, I mean, it's a squad that you can do some work with there. What do you think of Chubb and Hill this week? So Chubb he's going to get the ball. He's going to get his damn 20 carries, and he's going to be
If he could
rumbling.
break out,
He's going to be rumbling as always.
Mm-hmm.
Cheetah, I just love in that offense. They look to get him the ball. So I'm never worried about Cheetah. I like Cheetah all the time.
Dortch is a nice under the radar pick, and you probably didn't have to pay that much for him. So that's a really nice upside. We talked about that, a couple of questions ago. Waller scares me, man. I don't know what it is. I think they hyper targeted Devontae as usual. So that, but the rest of the I see you got the Carr Waller stack with Devontae as well. So you got the triple stack basically. So that's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, man. Patrick, our boy here. I don't trust Henderson yet. I need to see Henderson beat Akers in touches 1 or 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And
No
this
doubt.
is a dilemma that I had this week where we talked about earlier, where I had a choice in my flex to play either Henderson or Joshua Palmer. And I wound up playing Joshua Palmer at the last minute because obviously he was a wide receiver 2. Wound up scoring the touchdown late, so it kind of saved me there. Otherwise, I kind of would have been a little disappointed. But he had he had a ton of targets, and he was actively involved. And like you said, Henderson, I just don't know. Who knows when Akers is getting out of the doghouse? All he needs is one big play, and he starts getting more carries, and that can start eating in. So that was my concern about Henderson, which I thought was kind of crazy that. I think ESPN Fantasy had him at like 16 points projected or some crazy shit like that, and I was like, "Whoa!" I don't trust this yet. I don't know if Henderson is getting all that work yet, so that kind of just scares me a little bit, for Henderson. But what do you think, Cameron?
Yeah, bro. I mean, we talked about this on our last episode we were doing on Monday night. We were rolling through the different games, and when I touched on that Rams Bills game from opening night, I was just like, I kept looking at the screen and I'm like, where's Cam Akers? Where the hell is Cam Akers? That was one of my biggest takeaways from that particular game. So yeah, that backfield is really hard to trust right now, and it feels like if you do plug Henderson in there, Cam Akers is gonna get 15 carries, and you're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, So yeah, that's if you have better options, try and steer away from that if you can.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for the comments. We're getting to everybody. Just like and subscribe for us there. We'll get to everybody, I promise there. What is it? Dylan? Again, thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Who do I start at flex? Robbie Anderson, Breece Hall, or Burkhead?
This is an easy one for me.
Go ahead.
This is Breece Hall, and I don't want to say it's not close, but it's really not. Burkhead, between him and Dameon Pierce, that's a weird situation. You kind of have to wait to see how that plays out. Robbie Anderson, we touched on this again in the last episode. I touched on that Carolina game. He's a true boom or bust guy. So in the flex position, he is going to give you some upside, but he could also really let you down. If he doesn't catch that, whatever it was, 50, 60-yard bomb, you're left wanting more. Breece Hall is going to get the stable amount of touches to get consistent fantasy production. Out of the flex block, as you talked about, if you want to look for a little more upside, you could roll with Robbie Anderson, but you might get burned. In this situation, if you had these 3, go with Breece Hall.
Yeah, I think you gotta, look at your matchup this week, who you're playing against, and also who you have on your team already. Do you, and like you said, do you want to go for the safer play and kind of, Breece Hall where he'll get, some work at least, or do you go for that, upside with Robbie Anderson? The problem with Robbie Anderson is that, he'll catch a bomb every now and then. You just never know
don't know, dude.
It's gonna be. Like Mike Williams situation. So you just don't know. Depending who you're going against and what the matchup kind of looks like against who you're playing, I think I do like Breece Hall out of all of them as far as the safest play. But if you want to go with the upside, absolutely Robbie Anderson. All it takes is one bomb for that to pay off. So if you like the risk, then go Robbie Anderson. Otherwise,
I'm actually
go Hall.
just a quick side note. I'm actually very surprised Baker Mayfield threw that ball to Robbie Anderson, considering what Robbie Anderson said when he knew Baker Mayfield was coming to town.
Well, no, that was beforehand. Actually, they tried to.
That's what I'm saying.
It was before he had said that he had said that earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was funny how that played out, but just something that came to mind when thinking about Robbie Anderson when I was watching him catch that bomb. I actually had Robbie Anderson on one of my benches, and I kind of let him go.
Who's Dortch? Patrick says, "Who's Dortch?" Dortch is a little guy. I said a little guy.
A little guy.
Disrespectful. I didn't mean that.
That's mad disrespectful. I hope Dortch isn't watching.
Dortch, we like you out there. Like I mentioned before, I think I like him as a good flex play. Obviously, Rondell Moore is not there. He had good targets last week. He was very involved in the offense. So he's a guy that plays for the Cardinals. Nobody really knew who he was until last week, pretty much. I mean, I've heard of him before, but he wasn't a guy that you were thinking about playing in any way, shape, or form. And
you were thinking about Rondell Moore before you were thinking about Dortch.
Nobody started Dortch at all last week. So, but I do like him, if you're in deeper leagues where you got to throw a flex in there. Guys, again, thanks for tuning in. We're getting to all the questions there. Just make sure you like and subscribe. We'll get to your questions. Let's see. Should I keep double stack with Carr, Adams, and Waller, or go Ertz over Waller? And I think they said this was FanDuel. For the FanDuel, I don't mind it. If you were in like a regular league, I don't like no kind of triple stack or whatever. But should I keep double stack with Carr and Adams and Waller, or go Ertz over Waller?
I might lean towards Ertz on this one.
I like Ertz as well. Like we've been saying, obviously D-Hop is out. Rondell Moore is hurt. So I like, what Ertz can do. And Hammer mentioned before, he doesn't love Waller. I don't love Waller either. But I think I'd go Ertz as well. I'd go Ertz as well here. I wouldn't do a triple stack. Yeah, don't do a triple stack unless it is one of those FanDuel things. I don't necessarily mind it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Destroyer. What about Mixon? Just what about him? I mean, he's got the potential to be a top 10 guy every week. Obviously, with the offense that he's in, gets a ton of touches. But what do you got to say about Mixon, Hammer?
Yeah, I love me some Joe Mixon. The offense is going to allow him to get the touches. He'll get a little bit out of backfield. I know they have Samaje Perine there in the passing game, but Mixon's going to get the goal line work. He's their workhorse. He's a real 3-down guy. I think the Bengals are going to be ahead a lot in games, but they also might be in shootouts. So, Mixon's a really good pickup. I just love Mixon all the way around as a top 10, 12 guy running back.
Absolutely. Jerry Jeudy had a great touchdown last week. Obviously, one kind of big play. Didn't do much, obviously, outside of that. But what do you think about Jerry Jeudy? I think you have him. I don't know if you have him in one league. I think no, you don't.
I got Sutton.
Yeah, you've got Sutton. So I mean, I was never going crazy over Jerry Jeudy, because I think Sutton is. It's tough to say. You can really compare it to like Seattle, where it's Lockett and DK, and you've got Sutton and Jeudy now. Like you can kind of honestly look at it that way, where Sutton is going to be that big play deep ball guy, and Jeudy will have some bombs as well, but more of a possession type guy. But I like Jerry Jeudy. I like what we saw in week 1. But they're just kind of starting to get rolling, so I expect them to be, to get a little bit better and stronger as the season goes on. So I do like Jeudy. Patrick has one. Maybe not Ertz. I go even cheaper. Maybe Joku, or make a more substantial upgrade to defense at another position. He's talking about the one we were talking about before. I like Mixon. Dylan McKee. Thanks again, Dylan. Make sure you like and subscribe there for us if you haven't already. Who's a better flex option?
We got this.
Robert Anderson, yes, we did got this. Why is that coming back? Who should I start at running back in full PPR? Zeke or
We did this too.
see? Why does it do that? It took me back up to the top there for.
Yeah, I got some more. I got some of the questions here. If you want, I could read them off to you because I'm getting them like as.
Can you hit show or no? Can you show?
I don't think so.
All right, here we go. I got it. Thank you, guys.
We got Richard Fornia popping in.
We played for. We did that. Okay, I got it. I like mixing for sure. All right, I'm back to where we were. What y'all think? Hold on, Card. Thank you, guys. Cardinals. He's just answering that. What y'all think about Pittman being out? It sucks. Let Hammer get into this because he's got Pittman on one of his squads. I have Pittman on one of my squads as well.
I have Pittman in my home league. He's actually my wide receiver 2. I have Justin Jefferson as my wide receiver 1. And yeah, that team was rolling. I have the most points in week 1 in my league, my home league. And Pittman was a big part of that. So it really sucks. I guess just transitioning into, and it was the thing that sucked so much. It wasn't anything that happened in the game as we're going through the course of the week, like a Alec Pierce, right? You saw him get banged up in the game, so you're worried about him throughout the week. This just kind of came out of nowhere. So, you're going throughout the whole week, and we passed waivers already. So it's like, now I got to pivot quickly, grab somebody off my bench. But I guess just transitioning into this next question, I don't know if you want to touch on the Pittman injury. I'm not playing Paris Campbell. It really depends on what your options are. What are your options? Because I'm pretty sure you could do better than Paris Campbell.
That's true. Yeah, you can't really trust Paris Campbell. But yeah, I mean, Pittman is unfortunate, but he's a guy where you'll rather have him sit out and come back kind of full strength. So if he's got to miss a week. Yes, it sucks, but you know what? He's a guy that you kind of need, and you don't want any kind of injury that's lingering throughout the season and every week. So, but yeah, Paris Campbell. I mean, we're not playing Paris Campbell unless you're in the deepest of leagues. I mean, should I play Paris? I think this is the one where he's got to buy the player. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Paris Campbell is a cheap option that. If you want to take a cheap option on one of the FanDuels, then yeah, Paris Campbell is definitely a guy you can do for really cheap. So
really quick, Blanc, I'm just looking at it. It's a quad injury for Michael Pittman, and it happened during Wednesday's practice.
Yeah, that's crazy that it happened during practice. That kind of.
So it was nothing lingering from the game.
Yeah, I don't like Arizona wide receivers either. With Pittman being out, that's why I said bring in Hines plus with his weekly target.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's not a bad choice as well, Patrick. Rich Fornia, thanks for tuning in, Rich. Like and subscribe for us there. Starting Debo and Pittman is out, so I need to start 2 out of Ayuk, Mooney, Higgins, or London. I'm going with Higgins and Mooney. I wouldn't be mad if you took London over Mooney, but I'm going with Higgins and Mooney. Higgins, obviously, a ton of upside with Joe Burrow. Mooney, the clear-cut number 1 guy there. London, the game script might help him this week, but I'm still going Mooney and Higgins. What about you, Hammer?
Yeah, I'm going Higgins and London here. We've been talking a lot about very similar guys because I'm sure injuries. A lot of people draft these guys. So obviously I'm going to go with Higgins. If Higgins is a go, you have to play him. That's not even a question. I think we both agree on that. I can't be mad at Mooney. I have Mooney on one of my teams, and it really let me down that last game. And I like what I see from Drake London just because I think the rapport is a little bit better with Mariota. I mean, I don't know if I trust Justin Fields as a thrower. I know Mooney did really good things last year. But that game, I don't want to say it scared me. It just let me down enough where if I have Drake London, I feel better about that.
Yeah. All right, that was that. He says also QBs are Burrow or Lance. I think you've got to go Burrow. I don't think it's close now.
It's not close.
And Lance could turn out to be great, but you want to see it before you start doing that. Burrow, as you saw, 4 or 5 turnovers and still wind up putting 20 something points. So
25. Yep.
even with all of those, even with all of the
And Higgins going down.
with the Intos and everything, and Higgins going down, Burrow still, put up points. So we're gonna go with Burrow there until Lance can kind of show you,
Now, the one thing I will say with Trey Lance, the rushing upside in normal conditions, the rushing upside when they get down near the goal line, and that's another thing in terms of what we're talking about.
Subscribe. Don't mean to cut you off. Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Dylan. Appreciate that, man. The one thing with Trey Lance, though, that might hinder Jeff Wilson is down near the goal line. Maybe they run some RPOs and Trey Lance runs it in and vultures a guy like Jeff Wilson. So
That's true. That and we didn't bring up that point before, but that's another good point to bring up about Jeff Wilson as well. That's why we've kind of been just off of starting him if you have
you have good options, yeah.
a better option. But all right, Dylan. Cordell Patterson looked like a top 12 RB option. Falcons are going to be down in a lot of games, and maybe have to and maybe able to have higher value in trade early. Absolutely. Go ahead, Hammer. You take this one.
Yeah, man. I had Cordell Patterson in a redraft last year. I actually picked him up off of waivers, just because we didn't know what his role was going to be with Atlanta, and he just really turned into like a Swiss Army knife, running and receiving. I think they're focusing more with him because they have a Drake London and a Kyle Pitts. They really like him at that running back position. So I think he said it.
I don't think I said it as a question. Cordell Patterson looking like a top 12 running back option? Question mark. Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah. It really depends, man. Honestly, there's some really good running backs out there. Top 12 feels a little strong, but it really depends on the volume of work. As you said, they're going to be down in a lot of games, so the value is going to be there. The touches are going to be there. And with a really mobile quarterback like Mariota, I feel like he can get it to these guys in some creative situations. So, it wouldn't surprise me because he's had big games. I remember last year he had like a 3 or 4 touchdown game, in one of those weeks, and he had like 35 points, and he carried me to a win out of the flex position. So he's a really high upside guy. Top 12 feels like a little bit of a stretch, but the usage is going to be there.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, thanks for the. I know you got questions there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get to your questions. We're just going down the list here. Just like and subscribe for us there, but we'll get to you. But yeah, top 12 is a stretch. I don't think he'll be able to put up that obviously consistently. But again, Damian Williams is now on IR, so now you've got just Algier and Cordell Patterson.
And I think they feel more comfortable with Patterson at this point. I
feel like Patterson is like officially like the RB now. There were talks like they were going to split him out wide more, but I think he's officially now kind of locked into that. So I don't know if I'd go as far as saying maybe top 12. He could very well be, but I don't really.
It's hard, right? You can't.
You can't go into thinking he's going to be a top 12 guy, but he can definitely be, a top 24 guy. If he continues, obviously.
That's good for RB2.
What he's continuing. But the other part of this question here is he has higher trade value early. Absolutely.
Especially after that week.
Right now is absolutely the time where you want to start taking offers and you want to start making offers. Anytime a guy has a big game, obviously their trade value is hot. So he's definitely a guy that I'd look to move off of if you've got some good trades coming to you there. I'd go Cargan, Sutherland will be fine. I'll switch out Henderson on your defense. That was part of that other question there. Is McKenzie a good option if Davis is out? Absolutely. Absolutely, I think so. McKenzie was one of my kind of sleeper guys going into drafts and into the season. But yeah, definitely with Davis out, I mean, you've got McKenzie's going to step up there. Jamison Crowder will get more burn. You'll probably see Shakir get a little burn as well, but you'll probably see McKenzie and Jamison Crowder benefit from Davis being out. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, same deal, really. Jamison Crowder really stood out. Obviously, McKenzie had the touchdown, but there's plenty to be had there. So, if you're a top 3 option in that Buffalo offense on any given week, you're going to have some value. So
But you could have a better option than McKenzie. I mean, the one thing I took away from the Buffalo game, obviously they scored a lot of points, but other than Diggs, like even though Davis did good, he didn't like dominate.
he didn't get the high volume. Yeah.
He didn't get a ton of volume. You know, obviously, we saw Knox have a dud that game, so he did absolutely nothing. So it's like it's.
But for me though, they're going to score. They're going to score a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
So there's enough.
Somebody's got to get them.
Right. There's enough of that chunk play touchdown.
So I do like McKenzie this week, Dylan. Especially if Davis is out.
He is out, I think.
Subscribe. Perfect. We saw that. Start tomorrow. Half PPR, Lamb or Patterson. Ooh, this is a tough one. And honestly, I might have to just go Patterson because he's going to have the ton of volume compared to Lamb and Dak. And I think it hurts to say that. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, Lamb is a guy that you can't really.
And you
can't really
high,
especially where you drafted him.
Right.
But
you got to pivot in situations.
They can still be trying to get him the ball a ton. I mean, he still had 11 targets last week. I mean, they're trying to get him the ball. But yeah, so, I think I'm leaning towards Patterson this week, especially with Damian Williams being on the IR. I can't believe I'm saying it almost. But yeah, well, what do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, so really interesting point. I'm leaning towards Cordell Patterson, but I will say this. There was a game that Cooper Rush played last year against your Minnesota Vikings, and CeeDee Lamb had a hell of a game with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
He can. That's the
thing. Amari Cooper was still there, so maybe that contributed to it. But all things being considered, and this is tough for me because I got CeeDee Lamb in your league.
I'm changing my mind actually before you even go ahead, but I'm
going Cordell Patterson, man.
I'm going back to Lamb. and I think one of the reasons why is just kind of looking up the matchup. Atlanta's playing the Rams. Obviously, if that gets out of hand, they won't be running the football. They'll be passing.
Bengals, yeah.
That might not benefit Patterson as well as to where Lamb is going against. Who are they playing?
Cincinnati.
They're playing Cincinnati, and they could be throwing the ball a lot. So I think I'm changing my mind. I'm going back to Lamb. My bad, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I was kind of looking a little bit deeper into it. But I just don't. Again, like you said, even he had a great game last year. I just don't think Lamb is a guy you can sit in any kind of situation. I think he's just. I don't think you can sit him.
I'd be hard pressed to sit CeeDee Lamb, and I'm wondering why, because this appears to be your flex. So, if you're playing Lamb or Patterson in your flex, I feel like you're in good shape everywhere else. If those are your two flex options, if you got two better wide receivers than Lamb and two better running backs than Patterson, you're in pretty good shape. But I just go with Patterson because it's the Dallas thing really, and then losing Dak. Their offense didn't look good to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that was Tyson. Again, thanks for tuning in, Tyson. Like and subscribe.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions you guys have, make sure you hit us out. Tyson's got another one. We'll come up to that in a second. Let me just go to this one real quick. Extreme Kane, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. I need 2 for PPR flex.
Zach Moss.
Kenyon Drake, Tony Mostert, Cedric Wilson, Doolin, Jalen Warren. Man, this is tough. I'm not sure if you're in like a really deep league or you got to be in a really deep league.
That's really deep.
You've got these guys here, but honestly, Tony, I don't think is playing. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's hurt.
That's Kadarius Toney.
I'm guessing it's got to be. Mostert, I don't think he got much burn last week. Cedric Wilson, Doolin, Jalen Warren. I mean, Jalen Warren is interesting just because obviously, Najee had the injury, but he's not going to see work if Najee is okay. I mean, Najee's not.
Yeah. So really quick, Blanc on Kadarius.
Go
Really quick on Kadarius Toney. He's questionable so far with a hamstring.
He wasn't involved enough anyway. He only played like 12% of the snaps, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly how much he played.
Because I had this conversation with somebody already. 12% of snaps week one. The coaching staff they just don't like him for whatever reason. So until he starts, showing that at least he can get on the damn field, you're not really touching Toney at all.
The Zach Moss thing is interesting because he got some good burn.
He did get good burn, but the problem with Zach Moss was that a product of James Cook spitting up blood and being injured and fumbling, or what? So I mean, honestly, what did Mostert do? Hammer, look up Mostert real quick. I don't think Cedric Wilson is worth starting or dueling.
Raheem Mostert. Let's see. 42% snaps, 5 carries, 1 target, 4.2 points.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think I like Moss. I think he's going to get the most work out of all of these guys, especially Kenyon Drake. I mean, we don't know if JK's coming back. They're just going to be splitting it up anyway. So yeah, I think Moss is the best option out of these. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, he needs 2 though.
Oh, he's got to pick 2. Okay. So go ahead. Moss is definitely one for me. Who do you got for the second one?
That's slim pickings. The Kenyon Drake thing is very interesting. I think he's getting a little more acclimated, and if he's getting some receiving work, you can't go wrong with that with a Kenyon Drake there. This is really tough because it seems like a massively deep league. If these are
20 teams, 22 people in the league. Damn. Okay.
Jesus. Yeah. So I'd go with Zach Moss, obviously, and then I'd probably look at Kenyon Drake and just hope that Kenyon Drake got 11 carries.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning the same way. I think I'll go Drake and Moss there. What did Doolin wind up doing?
Doolin.
I don't think he.
Well, obviously with the Michael Pittman injury, you expect Doolin to have a little bit of a bigger role. So I think that's why he threw Doolin in there.
That's right. So yeah, I think maybe Doolin and Drake might be the best. Doolin and somebody else. Oh, so even Patrick said go Doolin and Drake. So yeah, I don't love the others either. I think somebody's got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
So Doolin, I'm not mad at. So I'd probably go either Moss or Drake, or Doolin and Drake would be my 2 options. I think I'm leaning more towards Moss and Drake. I don't know. I think they'll try and just run the ball even more.
And they got Nyheim Hines.
And they do have Hines too. So yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards Moss and Drake here. What do you think, Hammer, as the final there?
I guess my overall takeaway is I would never be in a league with 20 guys. Like a 20-team PPR, that sounds insanity. Yeah, so I would go with Zach Moss and Kenyon Drake there, but those options stink.
Definitely. Also, my 20-team PPR, if Julio can't play at flex, Hines, Henry, or Zacchaeus?
Zacchaeus, yeah, he's on Atlanta.
You mean like Derrick Henry? I don't think that would be the
I don't.
What's Derrick Henry? He eats the Bills. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely if you're saying Derrick Henry, definitely Derrick Henry. Otherwise,
I think Derrick Henry would be a flex play.
I think I go Hines over Zacchaeus, but 20 teams, damn. Referring back to Lamb Patterson, I wanted to start Waddle and Chase and Saquon and Hunt. Maybe shouldn't play Hunt, but I think he's going to have another good week. Tyson, who's your other RBs, I guess, other than Hunt? Maybe if you shouldn't play Hunt, who else are you going to play there? Or was this that one RB league?
Because remember, Patterson could be the RB2.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Waddle and Chase and Saquon and Hunt. Maybe shouldn't play Hunt, but I think he's going to have another good week.
To be honest, I would have
Hunter Henry, not Derrick Henry. Okay, I figured that.
Okay. Yeah, no Hunter Henry. Stay away from New England.
Definitely, definitely no Hunter Henry there.
Yeah, if on this team, if Hunt is his RB2, I'm putting Patterson in the RB2 and then dealing with the flex between Lamb and Hunt.
How about Ashton Doolin? Because Pittman is out. Yeah, we just kind of touched on that. I just don't know if I want to trust that. That it's just such a dart throw.
Also, too,
playing with the number one like offense like that, it's
also,
just yeah. Go ahead.
Also, too, Alec Pierce might not play, so maybe Doolin is Pierce is out.
Yeah, Pierce is out too. So yeah, so I mean, like I said, it's a flyer. It's a flyer kind of thing. He could very well do well. He could very well give you nothing as well. Patrick says Tyson. I like Hines this week. Yeah, I like Doolin. Dobbins is out. If not, I like Mostert. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. But I think. I don't like Mostert as much. I like the other two guys. I'd rather Doolin Drake or even Moss. Moss in there. I don't like Moss at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't love him either. But just seeing obviously that he got some work last week and Cook didn't. I mean, obviously the options we're choosing from were slim pickings to begin with. But yeah, I can agree with you there, Patrick.
To be honest with you, Patrick, I didn't expect Zach Moss to get any burn, but as Blanc said, as soon as James Cook gave it up, Moss is the beneficiary there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank all y'all guys for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe for us there. All right, can't risk Gabe Davis not playing. Do I play Ayuk or Hollywood Brown? Oh my God, I said that like a retarded. Or Hollywood Brown. I think he's. Go ahead, Hammer. You take this one. I think I took the last one.
Yeah, this is an easy one. This is Hollywood Brown, and it's not even close. He's got the better quarterback, and he's the higher upside guy. So go with Hollywood Brown and run for the hills.
Tyson says, I have Pierce from the Texans. Don't trust him.
Yeah.
He's a guy you want to hold on to right now. He's a guy that can win you the league potentially down the stretch. But we're just not at that point yet. It's the beginning of the season. He's a rookie. They've got other guys involved, especially Burkhead, of course. But they did say they want to get him more involved. So expect him to get a little bit more burn this week. But as the season progresses, Pierce, Breece Hall, same kind of situation almost, where, as the season progresses, you'll start to see them get more and more involved. I like Hunt. He gets 10 to 15 carries and almost all the red zones. Absolutely, Patrick, I'm with you.
Good, man.
I'm with you 100%, man. 100%. I like that. We saw that. Antonio Gibson or Alvin Kamara. I mean, if Kamara's playing, I'm playing Kamara. Obviously, if he's not playing, then I'm playing Gibby. But yeah, I think if Kamara's playing, I don't know if you can sit Kamara. Or if you want to just play it safe and play Gibby just because of the injury concerns for Alvin, I'll take it. Patty Mills, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us there. Would you start Dortch over London, Elijah Moore, or DJ Moore? No, I wouldn't start Dortch over DJ Moore. No. London and Elijah Mitchell, I mean, you can get away with. I'd probably play London over Dortch, though. That's a real close call. But I'm not playing Dortch over DJ Moore. DJ Moore is by far the better option for me, even though last week obviously didn't have a great game. I expect him to kind of bounce back this week. But what do you think about that, Hammer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on Drake London, man. I was actually interested to see what that rapport would look like. And I talked about the rapport between him and Mariota a ton here. But I'm huge on Drake London this year, and I think their sky's the limit there in terms of the fantasy output. Maybe not winning games or whatever the case may be, but I really love me some Drake London. So he's awesome.
Patrick, you're all good, man. We love that you're involved with us here and everybody else. So no problem. We appreciate your input as well. You've got some good things to say on here, so no problem, man. He says, I love bullshitting. I'm all in the chat still in Thunder.
That's what we're here to do.
What else we got here? CD or Curtis Samuel? That's
CD.
a real tough one as well. But I don't think I can get away from CD. Curtis Samuel obviously had a great week 1, but we don't know if that's going to be the real agenda still going forward. But seeing him get all that work, I mean, it was very encouraging. But I think I need to see it again before I play Curtis Samuel.
You brought up a couple of really decent points. First of all, I don't even think Curtis Samuel was drafted in very many leagues to begin with.
First off, my points ain't decent, so let me just throw that out there. Go ahead.
You know what I mean, you fuck. So where you drafted CeeDee Lamb, you have to play him. Now, I'm not saying if this trend kind of continues. I understand CeeDee Lamb not playing with Dak, so his value takes a hit for a little while. You see the big game by Curtis Samuel, but there are just too many obstacles in Curtis Samuel's way, namely Terry McLaurin, namely Jahan Dotson, namely those running backs that they have there in Gibson, Robinson, and McKissick, wherever they are mixed and matched in. So I'm going to need to see that probably for the next 3 or 4 weeks on a consistent basis before I give Curtis Samuel a sniff over a guy like CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, definitely. I think CD is just obviously you drafted him that high. You're just not sitting a guy like that.
Now listen, in 3 weeks, if CeeDee Lamb is giving me 6 points and Curtis Samuel is giving me 15,
absolutely.
You know.
What would you add to where'd I go? What would you add to Algier to get Connor in half PPR dynasty? I'm a contender.
You'd probably have to add a lot because James Conner is a top.
I mean, it's a tough question because it all kind of depends on your league and who even has James Conner and what that team looks like.
True.
So that team, a contender as well, where they're even looking to get away Conner. Is this even an option? Is this just something you're trying to explore, or is this like an actual thing that you actually might have on the table here? Now you are a contender. I mean, I don't love Connor to begin with, let alone in
I guess also too, who's your other RBs?
But yeah, who's your other RBs? If you can write in the chat there, Patty, who's your current RBs that you do have in Dynasty that you're trying to upgrade to Connor from? But honestly, like we were just talking about, Damian Williams on the IR. All they have is Patterson. Who knows how much longer he's going to be there? Obviously, he's getting older. Algier has a nice opportunity path to kind of take over that backfield. And obviously, next year they could go ahead and fucking draft Bijan Robinson for all that we know. So that could, turn to shit. But, then again, it's just saying Algier does have, a decent path to where he can actually, where he can do something. He's got CMC and Akers already. Yeah, Akers is I don't love Akers, so loaded at wide receiver.
So Connor would slot in as the RB2.
Connor would be a nice slide in there. I don't know if I'd go as far as giving up a first, but if you can give up like Algier in a second, maybe. I mean, I'd do that. I don't know if I'd want to spend the first, especially in next year's draft class. I'd rather maybe go for someone a little bit cheaper if you could, but it all depends on what obviously they'll take for Connor. But I would probably I would do a second in Algier maybe, but I don't love the move obviously because of Algier's potential. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I mean, Dynasty is always that thing that you have to kind of transition and really put your GM hat on. If you are a contender and you have CMC, sliding Connor in as the RB2 looks really, really nice.
It does.
So to pay a first round pick is tough with Algier, who basically probably was drafted in the second round in your dynasty redraft. I don't know if this was a startup or if you guys were already, you know, drafting rookies, did your rookie draft. But I like the move just from the standpoint of if you want to go for it, go for it. Connor just signed a deal with Arizona, so it's not like he's going anywhere. He's going to be a RB2 for the next couple of years anyway. So if you really want to go for it and Connor's your RB2, you're in really good shape. So I would say make the deal if you can to put yourself over the top.
Yeah, definitely. Try and make it happen. Like I said, don't really give up a first, but if you could give up a second without Joe, or even another kind of bench player guy, but definitely if you're a contender, go and get him. Just hold on to the first. I don't like giving up first, especially for a guy like Connor, where I don't think he's gonna like take you over the top and win you the league. But
well, at the RB2 position, if you got CMC, a healthy CMC, that's gonna make a difference.
Well, I guess my point, I don't see him finishing top 5, I guess is my thing.
No, he'll be in that 15 range.
But yeah, Cooper Rush. I know, Isaac. I mean, like we talked about, obviously, you know, he had a great game with Cooper Rush. What was that last year, Hammer, where you brought that up?
Yeah.
And he's just a guy, you know, there's just certain guys in the NFL where sometimes the QB just, it doesn't matter. And he's a guy that any given week can obviously put up a ton of points.
And let's not, you know,
Miles Sanders, what would you add to get Connor? Yeah, I don't love Miles Sanders, so give up that guy.
just to circle back to the Cooper Rush thing, you know, it's not like Dallas is going to go out there and have 0 yards and 0 points and 0, like they're not going to get shut out across the board. So I think CD has a path to some productivity. You know what I mean? The Cooper Rush thing scares me, obviously, but you never know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Patty Mills, same thing with Miles Sanders. What would you add to get to Connor? Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're a contender, when you're talking about in dynasty teams, you know, if you're trying to get that one guy to kind of push you over the top, you know, to make you that elite kind of contender. I mean, I don't mind. I don't love giving away the first round pick. I'm always going to try and stay away from that. You know, give up a second and a player. You know, giving up a Miles Sanders and a second round pick. And it all depends on the team that you're trading to as well. So is the team you're trading to rebuilding? Then most likely they'll take a Miles Sanders and a second round pick. You know, so it all kind of depends. You got to read the people in your league, and every league is a little bit different as far as the values are concerned.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't give up a first, but what do you think?
I think Connor is definitely an upgrade over Miles Sanders.
Oh, absolutely.
So listen, if you give up, I would rather give up Miles Sanders in a second round pick than Algier. If you can hang on to Algier and give up Miles Sanders, because Miles Sanders has a little bit more return on investment for the other team right away. And then obviously you attach a second round pick if you can. So I would try and swing that trade and get Miles Sanders out of there with a second round pick. That should net you enough to get Connor.
Yeah. All right, need one full PPR, Hammer, Montgomery, Adam Thielen, or Allen Robinson?
Solid question. Those are pretty good options in terms of what you're choosing from. I guess it depends. This sounds like this is a flex question because you got a running back and 2 wide receivers here. Ooh, man, I don't know.
This is a tough one. Guys, we're probably going to be on for the next kind of 5 minutes or so. We'll wrap up the rest of the questions here. We'll be on tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we'll be answering more questions tomorrow. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the little bell button there so you get the notification. But I
think I'm going to go Allen Robinson here just because I think it was on a national stage and it was so obvious his lack of production and his lack of involvement. So I'm going to go Allen Robinson with the bounce back game.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there as well. Even though we talked about earlier, obviously Montgomery he does get the burn. Herbert might eat into that a little bit, but yeah, I think I'm going with Allen Robinson. I'm taking that chance. You know, I'm going with what Sean McVay said. He said the same thing last year, as I mentioned earlier. You know, when Woods started that first game, he wound up getting him the ball that second game. So I'm going to go with Allen Robinson as well. Isaac again, Brandon Cooks or Jalen Waddle. Good question. We're talking about this a little bit earlier as well. Obviously, just a great matchup against Baltimore with everybody down in that secondary. So this is
I
tough.
think a lot of people sleep on Brandon Cooks because he plays out in Texas, out in Houston with the Texans, and a lot of people don't pay attention to the Texans. But he had a great week last week, and he just seems to put up numbers quietly. So I don't think he could be overlooked.
No, I don't think so either. I think the biggest thing is that you probably drafted Waddle before Cooks.
I would agree.
So that's kind of the hard part about it. So I wouldn't be mad who you started either way. But I'm gonna stick with my with Jalen Waddle on this one. You're gonna go with Cooks?
I don't know, man. The Texans are playing Indy, and the Dolphins are playing the Ravens. Yeah, I mean, Cooks is the clear-cut number one. I'm going to go with Cooks on this one. I like Davis Mills. I think he's another one of those guys that he plays out in Houston for a team that's probably not going to be good. So I'll go with Cooks on this one.
All right. I have to. Yeah, we can agree to disagree there. Like I said, they're both kind of same. It's the same boat. It's not like one is one crazy better than the other. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna roll a Waddle on that one. CMC and Akers loaded at wide receiver. Yeah, so I would definitely go ahead and get Connor. Just try and hold on to the first. Though I don't think he's worth trading the first for. Patrick Isaac last year for Rush's start. Amari Cooper had a monster game because he was wide receiver 1. I'd throw Lamb out there. Somebody's got to catch it. Exactly. That's you're on the same page as us there. So thanks, Patrick. We appreciate you here. I'd sell Akers, Sanders, and Algier and nothing more. Yeah. I mean, if you could sell those guys and even without giving up a pick, I mean that I'd do that probably too. I don't like Sanders, especially in Dynasty. Sell Akers ASAP. Absolutely. If you've watched us before, I've been saying all off season and during draft time to just stay away from Akers. I mean, he had a really bad injury that nobody's ever come back from, and he didn't look great last year when he came back, and I just didn't want nothing to do with it. Dylan, I'm not sure what this one had to do with. Dylan's a great guy to go out and get if you can go get him. I missed it. They must have been talking about something in the chat. I can't find it. Start Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray this weekend.
That's a nice one. You haven't got too many quarterback questions.
No, we haven't. But I'm going to go with Kyler Murray because of what we kind of talked about earlier, playing against the Raiders. Could possibly be a high scoring contest. Russ played good. I think he only had a 1 touchdown though, right? That's a really good question, actually. Denver is playing Houston. I think Javonte just goes off. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with Kyler Murray on this one. I think Javonte is gonna score some touchdowns and take some TDs away from Russ. What do you think, Hammer?
My initial thing is to say Russell Wilson, but as I've started noticing over the last couple of years, Russell Wilson doesn't give you the rushing upside like he used to.
Yeah.
So that's a big factor, and Kyler Murray is going to give you some rushing upside. So I like Kyler Murray just by a touch, just because of the rushing upside. I know a lot of Kyler Murray's weapons are down. No Hopkins, no Rondale Moore. So he's relying on Hollywood and Dortch along with Zach Ertz and James Conner. But give me Kyler Murray.
Yeah, definitely. Patrick says 50-50 on the Algier thing because they have Avery Williams kid, plus he fits more in that role of run and shoot offense than Algier. Yeah, I mean, Algier was a guy that I was never really high on coming out of the draft or being drafted or anything like that. The only thing about him is just, he has the opportunity, obviously, this year. But like I said, next year they could go out and fucking draft Bijan Robinson for all we know. And then, Algier just doesn't even matter anymore. So that's the thing I think about Algier is that his talent is not enough to to stop them from going out and drafting a guy, drafting an RB next year, high in the draft. So that's the one thing that does worry me about Algier for dynasty purposes in the long run. But like I mentioned, for this year, he could very well, if Cordell Patterson goes down, Algier.
And also too, another factor you got to look at, especially with these running backs, are that their shelf life is very short. Very few of these running backs are going to get to that second contract. They may play elsewhere, but their role is going to be uncertain. So
Patrick says even this year, very, very well. I mean, Algier is a guy that you're kind of taking a chance on. Maybe stash him on your bench if you got room. But like I said, he's not a guy you want to keep your hopes up for. But he could, obviously, if Patterson goes down, he could come in this year and do some work.
If your dynasty squad has a taxi spot, that's the perfect spot for Algier, so he's not clogging up a roster spot, And then if something happens to Patterson, like Blanc said, then Algier could be a factor.
Absolutely. Chip, thanks for tuning in with us. Like and subscribe for us there. I think this is going to be the last question.
I love the cable guy icon, by the way.
Yeah. We've finally caught up on the questions. I think this is going to be it because it's about to be 1 a.m. Eastern here. We've got all right. We're going to answer these last three questions here, but I'll be on 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, so definitely tune in tomorrow morning. We'll answer more questions.
I might have to jump in a little late. I have to run to the airport real quick, so I might jump in a little bit later on that.
All right, Allen Robinson, Tyler Boyd, or Isaiah McKenzie PPR. Allen Robinson is the easy answer for me there. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I would say Allen Robinson. If T. Higgins doesn't play, Tyler Boyd is a very, very interesting.
He's playing already. So it's.
I understand, but crazier things have happened. So Allen Robinson's the answer unless something happens to T. Higgins.
Yeah. Apologies, Lucius. Thanks for tuning in, man. We appreciate you. If you already answered this, what are your thoughts on the Colts defense? They are so injured. I'm thinking of going with Giants or Ravens. D, great show. Subscribe. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Everyone else out there, make sure you like and subscribe for us. We appreciate all of y'all and all the questions.
First defense question.
Yes, it is a first defense question. And yes, they are very injured coming in. They didn't look great last week. But now they're playing. I mean, they are playing Jacksonville. So I don't know. This is a tough one. There might be better options out. I mean, the Giants. Don't play the Giants D. Definitely don't do that. Don't play the Giants D. Ravens D. No, everybody in their secondary. Everyone in their secondary is banged up. But I will say I don't know if Miami is going to put up a ton of points. But I don't know. I think I still like the Colts. Who are they playing this week? They're playing Jacksonville, like I said. So, I think I still like the Colts D, even though they've got all the injuries of those other options that you've got up there. But what do you think, Hammer?
This is an interesting one, and I wouldn't just summarily dismiss the Giants defense against a Carolina team and a Baker Mayfield that will turn the ball over. I think Jacksonville is a underrated, or they're an improved offense. So they're not the shit show that we saw last year. So I do think that Jacksonville could put up some points. I'm not saying they're going to light it up and score 40, but I don't want to just dismiss, Jacksonville as this terrible team that's going to, have the Colts defense have, 20 points. If those are your three options, I think the Giants defense could be interesting because I do think if you could rattle Baker Mayfield a little bit, you can get some big plays off him.
I see your point there with the Giants. I just can't trust the damn Giants.
You just don't like the Giants. No,
I'm not messing with them. You guys are awesome. Y'all are great. Thank you guys, Dylan, Patrick. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we do.
All right, San Fran backfield. We did kind of touch on this earlier. They've got fucking 97 running backs. You just don't know who's going to get the damn ball. You just don't know. And again, all it takes is one big play from somebody, and then that guy starts getting fed. So I'm a guy that just stays away from it altogether. Hammer is a guy that does have Elijah Mitchell in a dynasty league. I feel bad for him because he's got a roster all the other 97 running backs as well.
It doesn't get any less funny when you say it. It doesn't get any less funny. It doesn't.
But yeah, that's what I think of the backfield. Hammer, what do you think of the backfield real quick? Let's run through those last questions before we hop off.
Bro, if I lose hair by the end of this season, it'll be because of that San Francisco backfield. You know, like you said, I have Elijah Mitchell. Jeff Wilson is in my starting lineup this week for Dynasty. I considered putting Damian Harris in there, but I just couldn't do it for whatever reason. It's not good. And Kyle Shanahan, as we touched on, rotates running backs probably like he rotates his underwear. So just pray for the best. If you can go away from the San Fran backfield, then do it.
Patrick says no. Go Colts over them other two. I'm with you, Patrick. I'm going Colts over those other two.
I like what I saw from Jacksonville offensively. Not that they're a juggernaut, but that Carolina, I don't like Baker Mayfield. So that's
what the CMC and DJ Moore is going crazy.
Yeah, but
all right. With Kittle being questionable, should I pick up Tanyan, Thomas, Hooper, or Henry? Who should Dylan pick up, Hammer?
Well, I have George Kittle in said dynasty league, and I actually have Hayden Hurst, who was solid and very much involved. I know T. Higgins, going out probably increased his target share. But from these four, so you got Tanyan. I'm not taking Hunter Henry. I'm not taking Austin Hooper. Thomas. What Thomas are we talking about here?
That's Ian Thomas? Panthers, maybe? So it's the only one that's coming to my head right now.
Tanyan, I think I'm going to lean Tanyan.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on that.
I think I'm leaning Tanyan here just because it seems like Aaron's lost all trust in those wide receivers that he's got over there. And this is Packer boy speaking, so I like Tanyan there. Maybe he could get a touchdown. I think Aaron Rodgers will probably have 2 or 3 touchdowns in this game against the Bears on Sunday night. So go Tanyan.
Yeah. All right, Nick R. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Nick Flex, Elijah Moore, Ayuk, or Metcalf. It's a tough one, but I think I'm still. Did I give you the last one first? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm still rolling with. Damn, I think I'm rolling with DK though. I mean, even though he didn't have a great game one, he had a nice amount of targets. I don't think Ayuk. I don't think it's evolved enough for my liking yet. And Elijah Moore just no. Yeah, I don't know. This one's tough, but I think I'm going DK. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I mean, because Elijah Moore and go back to that other. What was the other one? Elijah Moore, Ayuk. Yeah, DK Metcalf has the highest upside here.
Yeah,
and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, Cleveland D, Cincinnati D, even like Washington, Green Bay. There's got to be other options than Baltimore and New York Giants. Absolutely, Patrick. I'm with you on that. Wilson is just as injury prone as Mitchell. Absolutely. I'm just saying whoever's getting the carries is producing. The problem is we don't know who's going to get the carries and who's going to, if they're going to be the absolute workhorse. Like, yes, Wilson is the guy right now who should get the majority of the carries. But like I said, they put in Jordan Mason. He breaks off a 20-yard run. Now we're going to be seeing a mixture of fucking guys again. And
Trey Lance can run the ball.
And Trey Lance runs the ball as well. That's the other thing we kind of missed out before is where, these running backs, their touchdown upside is a little bit limited, with Trey Lance there as well. So thanks, subscribe. Thank you, Chip. Appreciate you there. Last question, Winston or Mariota? Who do you got, Winston or Mariota, Hammer?
Ooh, this is a
good one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. This is interesting too. I'm just going to go Mariota here just because of the rushing upside. And that's really what's going to separate a lot of these different guys. Mariota's got some good weapons. I mean, I know we looked at Atlanta the last couple of years and we're just like, what the hell is going on there? But they looked okay against New Orleans. They lost, obviously, but the offense moved the ball, and that was really good to see. And Mariota had a really nice blending of running and throwing. So I like Mariota with the rushing upside.
Patrick says Winston. I'm going to agree with you on this one, Hammer. Number one, the rushing upside. Number two, Winston is going against Tampa Bay, who did look pretty good defensively. So I am going to go with Mariota here instead of Winston with the rushing upside there. And as well as Mariota is playing the Rams, that could be some kind of blowout where Mariota starts having to chuck the ball as well. So should I trade DJ Moore and Patterson for Dobbins and Kupp? Dobbins, I absolutely hate. I don't
really a 2-for-1
at all. So that's kind of nothing. Now Patterson is a guy that obviously had a great game one, who you can trade at a very obviously the value is skyrocketed right now. So if you want to get the most out of him, you want to trade him right now. But Hammer, you are a Cooper Kupp owner.
I am.
Would you make this trade? Would you trade away DJ Moore and Patterson for Dobbins and Kupp?
I'm a little skewed because I did win the Dynasty League on the back of Cooper Kupp last year. So my opinions are,
just to be clear, full PPR redraft.
Okay, but even still, the production is the production. Yeah, man, Cooper Kupp's a difference maker. I would make the trade. And we talked, and another person, as you said, brought up trading Patterson at his highest value. Cooper Kupp's a needle mover, and if you can go out there and get him, you figure out the rest. So yes, I would make this deal.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Patterson, most likely you drafted late anyway. So yeah, I mean, Kupp is a guy that can obviously win you the league. So I'd go out and get Kupp there, definitely. Rodgers also kills the Bears. Yes, he does. Patrick, he said Winston before. Tampa's been thin in the secondary for 3 years now. Yeah, but they still played well. And yes, the Saints obviously have good wide receivers for days. I agree with you. I love all of those wide receivers. Michael Thomas, I'm just not huge on for this year, especially coming back from injury and being that he didn't play a ton of the snaps. Obviously, week one, I don't know if they're just slowly kind of integrating him back, or if he's still a little bit sore, or what the case is there. I mean, they're so close. You can't go wrong either way. Whether you went with Jameis or with where's that question here, wherever it is, whether you went with Jameis or
Mariota.
The
difference is the rushing for me
for this particular week. Because they're so close, you got to just look a little bit deeper into it. And for me, I just like the matchup a little bit better because Mariota is going to be having to throw that ball if they're getting waxed. So, and then of course with the rushing upside. So, where did little Jordan Humphreys go? Who was little Jordan Humphreys?
From Tampa?
I don't know. I wasn't all into them, but all right, Greg, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe for us if you haven't already. If Kamara doesn't play, should I start Ingram or Stevenson PPRs? Ingram might be a good play if Kamara doesn't play, and then again Stevenson. Ty Montgomery is on IR now, so Stevenson jumps into the that pass catching kind of third down role. So I do like Stevenson. This is a tough one. I think I like Stevenson though, believe it or not. What do you think, Hammer?
I'd probably go with Ingram, just because that New England offense. Now, I know they're going to get it going at some point, but they're very limited on the outside. So teams couldn't really, shut down that run game and force Mac Jones to beat them. So I'd go with Ingram here just because of the balance on the New Orleans offense.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You can't really go wrong either way. But for some reason, I've been feeling this I've been having this Stevenson feeling this week, especially since Ty Montgomery went down. I don't know. For some reason, I'm just getting this Stevenson coming out kind of party kind of feeling.
Did you have a vision?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Swami, Swami had a vision. But I don't know. There's just something about Stevenson that I like. Ingram is just an old fart now, and I don't know. Obviously, Kamara's not there, so he could get serious burn. But I don't know. Something is giving me Stevenson vibes this week. But other than that, I mean, that's gonna wrap it up for probably the best wide receiver from last year. Yeah. Oh, that's who Jordan Humphries was, I guess. I mean, yeah, we thought Callaway was going to go off last year. We drafted Callaway, in a few leagues last year, real late, trying to see, who's going to be the guy.
I did think Callaway was going to do something.
Callaway had, a couple good games. I mean, he didn't really do what we thought he was going to do or what he should have did. But, all right, we didn't even get to all these other games here because we started answering questions and shit.
Yeah, they came in fast and furious.
Right. All right. Real quick. New England or Pittsburgh? Who you got?
I'm going Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I'm going Pittsburgh too on that. Jacksonville or Indianapolis?
Ooh, I think Jacksonville can pull the upset, but I can't. I'm gonna go Jacksonville here.
Okay.
Indy's really hurting right now.
They are, and I could agree with you there. I think, but I'm still gonna go Indy. I don't care. I'm still gonna go Indy. I think you'll just see a ton of JT obviously shoving it down people's throats and shit. So I don't remember where Humphreys went, but yeah, I was a Callaway sucker too. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I think we all were.
Fucking guy burned us all, man. Patrick's going with New England. Patrick's going with Indy as well. Okay,
run these games.
New England just looked so bad. Their offense was just so bad. Mac Jones looked horrible, and then he hurt his back or whatever the case was. I think he's okay, but yeah, okay. Let's go to Miami or Baltimore.
Ooh, I don't know, dude.
Miami. I'm Miami. Patrick, who you got, brother?
Yeah, I'll roll Miami.
Miami or Baltimore?
I'll roll Miami.
You rolling Miami too? Okay.
I don't like it though.
Atlanta or the Rams?
Oh, the Rams for sure.
I'm going with Rams too. I think they bounce back. Seattle, San Fran.
Seattle made me open my eyes, but San Francisco.
Patrick says you're right about Stevenson. He'll take over. Yeah, I don't know. I got this feeling
at some point.
Stevenson now. He's got Rams as well. San Fran. Who'd you go with, Hammer?
San Fran.
You're going with San Fran. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with San Fran as well. I think they bounce back this week. Hammer got that. Cincinnati or Dallas?
Oh, Bengals. Not even close.
Yeah, absolutely. Hammer Blanc. Traded Shark, Alex McBuckets. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Alex, thanks for tuning in with us. I think you asked us a couple questions already. But, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Just like everybody else here. Traded Shark and Devontae Parker for Breece Hall the other day. Did I fleece him? Fuck yeah, you fleeced him, bro. This is what you call a trade rape. This is what you call a fleece. This is a full-on fleece.
Getting the stamp.
Absolutely, you're Blanco approved here, so you get the stamp. You get the stamp from me here. Definitely. What do you think, Hammer? Was this a fleece?
Yeah, because Devontae Parker plays in New England where they can't throw the ball for a lick, and DJ Shark is only going to be the product of if the Lions are down by a ton, and then once Jameson Williams comes back.
And let me say this, Alex, I give you a ton of props actually for this trade because this is the time where you want to go get Breece Hall, right? Because Breece Hall was being drafted so high, and depending where you drafted him, when your draft was in the offseason, earlier drafts he was going second round, third round early at least, and then now towards towards the beginning of the season now, drafts he was going in maybe 4th, 5th round, sometimes sliding. So, you're able to go and get other guys at that pick, and then now you can trade for Breece Hall, because he didn't produce as well the first game, where that production is going to come down the line. That production is not going to come.
And he already had good opportunities in the first game.
Exactly. So Breece is he's a league winning type guy down the line. He could be, down the stretch there. So Dallas at home. I know, Patrick, but I'm not doing it.
Bengals.
I'm not doing it.
What else we got?
All right, we got Houston and Denver.
Denver really fucking let me down, but I'm gonna go Denver.
Yeah, I'm going to go Denver as well over Houston. We've got Arizona at Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
I really hate that Miami ball.
Yeah.
Flopping.
I didn't like it either. What was the game? Arizona at Vegas?
Yeah, we're talking about – no, we are Houston. Arizona at Vegas.
Raiders.
I'm going with Raiders as well there. Chicago and Green Bay.
Don't even ask.
Yeah, I think Green Bay has a good game. I think they battle back.
Packers.
After that, Patrick says he's going with Denver. Yep. He's going with Vegas. Yep. I feel you, Patrick. Chicago, Green Bay. All right, Tennessee at Buffalo. Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't think that one's close.
The last one is tough.
And then we've got, he goes Green Bay as well. Yeah, Patrick. Thanks for staying with us, Patrick. We appreciate you, man. We like hanging out. The questions. We love the input. We love it all, man. So really appreciate you. Minnesota, my guys, the Minnesota Vikings at Philly. I'm, of course, rolling with my boys. But what are you doing, Hammer?
This is about as pick 'em as I could think. That Miami.
He says Eagles +6. Don't you dare, Patrick.
Well, he took the easy way out. +6 meaning winning by 6. I thought he meant against the spread, but I don't think the spread is 6 on that game. Yeah, I'm gonna go Philly here.
Love you too, man.
I'm gonna go Philly here, but maybe by a field goal.
Fuck you too, bro. Fuck you. All right, so you're gonna go Philly. You're still salty because we waxed Green Bay's ass. I think that's your problem.
I'm not salty.
You're salty that we fucking took down your bitch ass Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not salty.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are a good team.
Purple people eaters, dogs.
Jesus, don't.
All right, good or bad bet. Taylor over 102. I was trying to get into some of this stuff too. We just had so many questions. I couldn't get into some of the betting stuff. I wanted to go over some of the underdog bets, stuff that you can bet on an underdog. If you guys are not part of Underdog already, go ahead to the website or download the app. You can sign up with our code, which is Dynasty Life Fantasy. And they will match up to $100 that you deposit. So if you deposit 100, they'll fucking give you 100. You got 200 in that bad boy. So and that's Dynasty Life Fantasy. That's the code you can enter with, so you can get that done. 102 rushing yards, over 124 rushing and receiving, and anytime TD. I don't love the receiving part, just because he doesn't get a ton of that, but he could. I mean, he very well could. But I think I'd rather go with the rushing part there, especially with no wide receivers. Basically, I think they're going to just run him, 25, 30 times. Possibly.
And they might look to get Nyheim Hines to pick up some of that receiving slack.
Yeah, so I like that one. 125 rushing and receiving and anytime TD. I guess I can still like that as well. I mean, I don't love the receiving part about it, but he can still very well go for that with the touchdown, definitely. Definitely. But all right, we're gonna wrap it up just because it's getting late on our end, 1 o'clock Eastern time here in the morning. Again, we'll be back in fucking 10 hours. I'll be back at 11. Are you in tomorrow in the morning, Hammer, or are you not?
No, I gotta run out to the airport to
All right.
LaGuardia.
Yeah, so I'll be on with Bagala tomorrow morning from 11 to 12. So tune in tomorrow. Last week I streamed like the red zone. Obviously we can't play it on for you guys. Obviously that's illegal, but I was just kind of commentating on it. So I'll probably do that as well for the first games from 1 to 4. So you can tune in with us. Tune in with us there. So yeah, Patrick, come check us out tomorrow. I'll be here. Perfect, man. Appreciate you, dog.
I know we're gonna have we'll probably do a Monday night. We got the doubleheader Monday night, so I'm sure we'll be on.
Yeah, we'll be on Monday night as well. We're good on Monday night as well. We did a little weekly roundup Monday night last week that happened as well, so we'll get into that. But appreciate you guys. Thank y'all. And again, tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Starts and sits, and then I'll probably do from 1 to like 4 or so red zone, just coverage of fantasy shit. So come hang out with us. But other than that, we out. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Hammer, anything?
Adios. Win your leagues. Get it done.
All right, guys.